All right. Hello, everyone. I decided to screw it to start the stream early because it makes a little difference. Now, I'm not going to get to the main event yet because I'm waiting for my audience to show up. There's two people currently, at least as of this part of the stream. For those of you who are watching it after the fact, yeah, it's going to be a bit before I react to this awful lib bullshit about talking to fucking Republicans. This is the first stream of 2024, the very first video of 2024, which I apologize for those of you who like me doing streams. It's just I haven't been up for it. My main priority was working at the time. Yes, I do have a new job. I'm not going to reveal where I work for obvious reasons. I'm not going to dox myself, especially to any of my would-be stalkers out there who are just looking for any kind of information. So, yeah, I'm not that dumb. I'm not going to reveal, oh, yeah, I work at this and this and this and this place. So, yeah, amongst other things as well, it's just honestly, I just haven't been feeling up for it. It's like, it sounds like an excuse. Yes, it does. If anyone hears me, I'm not making excuses. It's just I haven't had the energy to really do a stream. And if I don't have the energy, then I'm just simply not going to do it. Unless it's something really, really important, I just don't feel like I want to waste my energy on something. What I'm basically saying is I don't want to do a stream just to do a stream because I'm trying to make content because I don't want to burn myself out. So yeah, 2024, you may see inconsistencies when it comes to the amount of content that I put out. Sometimes I'll post content, sometimes I won't. But I feel like this garbage of a video that's done by an enlightened centrist, well, I'm not, of course, enlightened centrist is a fucking oxymoron. Enlightened and centrist just don't go together. If anybody has paid attention or hasn't lived under a rock for the past fucking 10 years, these so-called enlightened centrists, so many of them have gone to the alt-right or are alt-righters themselves that I just don't, when I hear an enlightened centrist or a centrist, it's like, yeah, well, fuck you, I don't trust you. Because like so many of these arguments in this video is like gaslighting and victim blaming. It's like, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go deep into it because I want to get to the video and I want to wait until I have at least a decently sized audience. Not to mention another reason I haven't been doing these streams. It's just I could talk about Palestine, which I will do in this stream, which is, it has to be talked about because what's going on in Palestine is horrific. It's just, I feel like I'm just preaching to the choir, and there's only so many times I could say this or reveal this, and I just feel like I'm not making much of a difference. I feel like those who are more qualified than I am on the subject are just better suited to talk about it more regularly. Even though I've talked about Palestine and almost all my streams that isn't entertainment related, it's just it's difficult not to talk about Palestine because it's basically something I don't want anyone to forget what's going on over there. There's a genocide that's being broadcast for all the world to see. We're in February as of this recording, and there's still no signs of fucking the Zionists fucking stopping. They're just fucking bombing fucking kids. And you still have people that are denying or just outright openly supporting a genocide. And this is not off topic on the video I'm going to react to, because the kind of fucking people that we're supposed to fucking talk to are the same kind of people that are cheering this genocide on. Yeah, fuck Bernie Sanders. Seriously, fuck Bernie Sanders. Fuck, yeah, seriously. As someone that once supported him, which I'm ashamed to say that, but hell, we all, you know, watch. We all have stupid fucking takes at some point. We all like believe in nonsense at one point in our lives. I mean, it's all about, you know, being human, but still, the very fact that I supported that fucking Zionist piece of shit, it just makes me ill. And Bernie Sanders, I just can't even stand to hear him or to see him. This is before I was like, I even knew what fucking communism was. And I was just like, oh yeah, Bernie Sanders, he's kind of cool. He's like, oh yeah, Medicare for all. I'm speaking from the perspective of some idiotic fucking like newbie leftist. I was more of a liberal at that point. It's like, oh yeah, Bernie Sanders. Yeah, he's kind of cool. Then I saw him sell out, which is like, oh, he's just like the rest of these fuckers. Like, yeah, Bernie Sanders may have like helped in some ways bring the discourse of socialism, but I think Bernie Sanders has done a lot of damage too as well, because nobody could in America that hasn't even picked up any socialist literature can tell the difference between a social democrat and a fucking genuine socialist. It's fucking like aggravating. No, liberals shouldn't be anywhere near a revolution. In fact, liberals, in my opinion, just let's just say the things I think should happen to liberals is something that would get this stream taken down. I'm trying to leave it PG there. Yeah, you know what? Fuck AOC. And luckily, I wasn't as educated as I am now when it came to like leftism, but I knew AOC was another fucking snake, and I saw through her immediately. And the people I argued with, it's like, oh, AOC, she's actually pretty cool. It's like, no, she's just like the rest of them. And you know what? Look what has happened. Look what has fucking happened. AOC is just like the rest of them. You know what? AOC is basically a millennial version of Nancy Pelosi. That's exactly who she is. Well, fascists think anyone that's freaking like on the left of Ronald Reagan is somehow a secret communist. And this isn't unrelated, because these are the kind of people that this liberal fucking wants us to talk to. Oh no, let's not talk it to the fucking people, the disenfranchised voters. Well, by the way, I'm not advocating for voting, so anyone who's watching this, I don't advocate for voting. But if we're really going to advocate for something, then let's talk to the fucking people that are actually negatively being affected by these neoliberal policies. Let's talk to the poor working class. Why is it always fucking Republicans? Why do we have to cater to these people? They're some of the most bourgeois members of society. Yes, there are poor working class people that are Republican, but let's be honest here. They are not the kind of people that this liberal wants us to talk to. She wants us to talk to those who are already well off already. Like, where the fuck is the actual working class? Why aren't we going to them? The actual working class, the people that are actually being affected by these policies. It's like we could afford freaking spending billions of dollars fucking killing children in fucking Gaza or giving fucking weapons to Nazis in Ukraine, yet we can't fucking do anything about the people here? Why aren't we fucking advocating for that? Why aren't people like this woman advocating for putting our money into something that helps the people? But no, because liberals don't fucking care about the people. They never have. Many of these liberals would have been proud Nazis if they were alive 80 years ago. And I'm not just saying that. It's like, oh my God, Darth Sinovia, some reactionary dipshit that watches this. You label everyone you don't like as a Nazi. No. there's people that I don't get along with that are not fucking reactionary shitheads. Not everyone I disagree with is a reactionary shithead. Oh yeah, fuck those reactionaries. Yeah. These people just fucking honestly, it's hard for honestly, I view those people as a fucking joke. I don't even think they're actually serious when it comes to pushing their position. Like come on. Can anyone take anyone seriously that calls himself a MAGA communist? I can't. I don't. It kind of feels like for Jackson Hinkle anyway and Haas, I just feel like they're just plants to purposely make like socialists look like complete unhinged lunatics. Like I don't think they're serious. Caleb Maupin, I think Caleb Maupin is just a opportunist. Honestly, I think Jackson Hinkle and Haas are actually smarter than Caleb Maupin. While Caleb Maupin is just an opportunist idiot who has no charisma. It is weird. Anyway, before I get to the main event, I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Abraham Weisfeld and everybody who and the Jewish diaspora that's fighting against the fascists in America, Canada, and Europe. Despite what these so-called supporters of Israel, they don't give a fuck about Jews. They really don't. Because who are the ones that are getting arrested in protest? Is it the Nazis who are supporting Israel and the Zionists? Or is it anti-Zionist Jews? Like Dr. Abraham Weisfeld in Canada, for crying out loud, is on, despite being a Holocaust survivor. Well, I don't know about this as much, but he's actually a descendant of one, a direct descendant. He can't even go to the Holocaust Museum. In Canada, a fucking first generation Holocaust survivor can't even go to a museum to honor the dead of his own people. Yet a Nazi could go there. A Nazi could go to the Canadian Parliament and fucking be treated as a hero. One of the people that helped with the genocide against the Jewish people, but a member of the Jewish diaspora can't even visit a site that honors the dead? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? Yet we're gaslighted into believing that the anti-Semites are actually the people that support the Palestinians, not the actual anti-Semites who actually march with literal Nazis or freaking anagenical Christians who basically think all Jews should be shipped off to fucking Israel so they could carpet bomb them or they could start the apocalypse. The actual anti-Semites are allowed to do whatever they want. Yet those who are fighting against anti-Semitism, they're the ones that are being like oppressed violently by the state. They're the ones that are basically being killed. They're the ones that are being targeted by fucking the governments around the world. It's those who are fighting against anti-Semitism that are being killed in fucking Israel. It's like one side's murdering journalists and murdering children fucking in Gaza, destroying fucking holy sites that have existed for like centuries, yet supporting the people that are fighting against their own oppressors. We're the anti-Semites, right? We're the fucking anti-Semites for supporting the people fighting back against their oppressors. This isn't unrelated to what I'm talking about. The only reason I haven't got to the main event yet, because I'm waiting for enough people to show up before we watch the fucking cancer. I'm sorry if this video gives any of you cancer or you just cringe at some of these arguments. that you hear. I've watched this woman before. I mean, I think I thought she made some decent content in the past. Nothing that other people haven't done though better, such as Marxist Paul and various other Socialism for All, who's actually covered some of these topics in depth. Like, honestly, it's interesting to watch the liberal perspective on issues regarding fascism, anti-communism, vice versa, in order to understand the enemy. Because liberals are our enemies and would gladly send us all to camps if it meant to preserve the system, because they're more interested in that than they are actually making a better world for the people. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I wrote a few comments and they got fucking deleted. Oh yeah. Yes, I know. It's undeniable he's a pedophile. All right. Okay, you guys want to wait a few more minutes, or do you want to start this cringe now? I'll leave it up for the people to decide. I'm starting it regardless, but if you want to start it like a few minutes earlier, I'll let you vote yes, or you just want to wait a bit so more people can come. Yes, Vosh is a fucking pedophile. Which shouldn't shock anyone. I mean, he literally defended the existence of child pornography by basically claiming there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. It's like, he's always been proven to be a pedophile. It's just now we have 100% proof. There's no freaking way anybody can deny at this point, unless they're just some pedophile themselves who just want to defend one of their own. Yes. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just start it, because I don't know how long everyone has. Pornography in general should be banned. Okay, this should not be a hot take. It's not, unless you're a fucking pedophile. If you defend the existence of porn, you're a pedophile. I don't make up the rules. If you defend the existence of pornography, you are a pedophile. You defend pedophilia, you defend sex trafficking, you defend rape. You are apologists for all these things if you defend the existence of porn. So you know what? Fuck anybody that defends the existence of porn, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say regarding that subject, unless you want me to elaborate on it further later. Anyway, let's combat liberalism, because that's what we need to do right now. Anyway, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to watch this video again. I did watch it before, by the way. It's not one of these things I'm reacting for the first time. And yeah. So is everybody ready for cringe? Okay. Let's begin with this nonsense. Okay, first I got to make sure like the audio is actually not turned off, because that'll be awkward. Okay. Now let's begin.
As a sixth grader attacked on his school bus for wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
Oh, okay. This video is already showing some promise. Okay, sarcasm. We're making Trump supporters out to be the victims. Maybe you shouldn't fucking be a supporter of a fucking narcissistic fascist. I don't know. Accountability for your actions.
Super transphobic, and I never want to share space with you. Thank you.
If you're a Democrat or support the Democratic Party, don't you ever use the word democracy again.
Let the
Wow.
whole world see who you are. Yeah, I hate anti-trans people. Yeah, we're not anti-trans. Yes, you are. We're pro-truth.
Okay, what's wrong with fucking confronting transphobes? Why is that a bad thing?
The United States is more divided today than it has ever been. And
more divided today than it's ever been. Where the fuck have you been, lady? Where the fuck have you been? Where the fuck have you been? This country has always been divided. It's been divided since the Civil War. What the fuck? Yo, this video is already off to a fucking a terrible start. Okay. Oh God. Let's listen to more.
And we all feel this. And this means that just talking to each other is more difficult than ever. Not only
More difficult than ever. It's always been like this. It's just since the internet has become a thing and social media has become a thing, it's actually been a lot easier to expose the real America. This country's always been divided. It's always been divided. This is bullshit. If you know anything about American history, it's like, what? Do you not know the history of the 60s or even the 70s? How divided this country was on civil rights or the Vietnam War? Good God. This is ignorance on display.
because Democrats and Republicans lead such disparate lives that we literally never run into each other, but also because no matter which side you fall on, people on the opposite end of the political spectrum have been deemed enemies to the point of dehumanization.
Dehumanization. Dehumanization. Care to list some examples, please? Because you need some evidence to support your examples. How is the Democrats and Republicans dehumanizing each other? Oh, by the way, she doesn't provide any evidence, by the way, just letting you know.
And so striking up a conversation is far from casual or easy. It can be downright terrifying. And so we avoid it, leading to increased polarization and, as a result, increased political violence. Today,
why should a trans person feel compelled to talk to somebody that wants them dead? Why should a Muslim, why should they be inclined to talk to a Christian nationalist who want them dead? Why should a black person be compelled to talk to a white supremacist who wants them dead? This is stupid. This is not even an argument.
Today, I'm going to try to persuade you that having these difficult conversations is exactly what we need to be doing to save this country.
Save this country? Save... This country is fucked. It's been fucked. Like, you're like over 20 years too late. The ship has sailed. This country's doomed. And if you actually think that having a conversation with people that want people like me dead because, oh, I'm disabled? No. No.
And I'm going to lay out a blueprint for how to do it effectively. Even if
how
you're
to do it effectively. I wonder what
scared or you think it's a pointless waste of time.
It is a waste of time. Why should those who are like in disadvantaged positions, like myself, or someone who's even worse position, a trans person, why should they have to talk to these people? It's like this woman's basically putting the burden on victims of right-wing violence. This is, oh God, we're barely a minute in, and we're already hearing one bullshit thing after another. Oh God, let's continue.
This is how to talk to Republicans. Roll the intro. If you're not sure where to start when it comes to learning about issues from different perspectives or seeing how the other half lives, Ground News is a great place
Not all positions are valid.
to start. I am so impressed with Ground News and so happy that they're partnering with me on today's video because they're genuinely a great resource for combating your own biases and identifying biases in the media you consume. I use it every day for my research and I think it's a great tool. Ground News is a website and app.
Too bad for you. I don't consume corporate media.
That gathers related articles from across the political spectrum in one place so you can
What political spectrum? In America, it's right and ultra right.
Compare coverage. Every breaking news story comes with a bias bar to give you an idea of what types of media outlets are covering the story. And when you click to read more, you can see every article about this issue and compare headlines to see how it's being framed on the left and right. But the feature that's most
There is no left in America. There's right and ultra right. Anybody that actually knows anything about politics would know that both Democrats and Republican are right wing. There is no left party in America that's relevant.
Relevant to today's video is the blind spot feed because it can actually help you connect with people you don't agree with. This feed pulls in stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. Often these are highly partisan stories delivering more sensational content. It's important to know about these stories because it can actually help you practice empathy by allowing you to step into the media reality.
Why is it never? This is never. Why? If this woman seems to be talking to for people like us to be empathetic towards the people that want to kill us. It's good she's getting pushback, but fuck.
Reality of someone you may disagree with and recognize the power that this has over the way people.
Disagreement is fucking a understatement. I literally had a guy at my last job who I shit you not, by the way, this is for those of you who are wondering, this is when I worked at Trader Joe's, who literally agreed with Matt Walsh about trans people being groomers, and even did apologelia for Nazis having a voice on stage as speakers because his wife was Jewish. No fucking joke. So no, I fucking tried to talk to these people. They cannot be reached.
People understand the world. So next time your uncle.
You obviously don't understand the world if you're actually advocating for people to talk to fucking Republicans.
Cole tells you that allowing permitless concealed carry actually decreases crime, you'll know that he's talking about a very specific study out of Ohio. And all of a sudden you have common ground to base your conversation in instead of thinking he's absolutely nuts. You can actually engage with the facts of the study, like who it was conducted by, for example. When we all have access to the same information, bridging that gap with people on the other side of the spectrum becomes infinitely easier. But don't just take my word for it. Here are some real reviews from Ground News readers. Go to ground.news/Legia to give it a try. You can subscribe through my link to get 30% off the Vantage subscription, which is what I use. It works out to just over $5 a month. Thanks to Ground News for sponsoring this video. A 2021 poll found that the majority of Americans perceived other people in America as the principal threat to the nation's way of life. And in June 2021, voters declared division in the country as the #1 issue facing them personally. And many find these divisions to be insurmountable. A recent survey by the University of Virginia found that 52% of Trump supporters and 41% of Biden supporters favor red or blue states seceding from the Union to form separate countries.
That's not a bad thing, though. I don't think there should. I think America as a whole should be dissolved. Actually, hey, that's based. I'm sorry. If anything that weakens the American empire is good, in my opinion, in my eyes.
Shocking number of the electorate are in favor of secession.
Okay, shocking number of the electorate. I have a question. Which part of the electorate? Because I looked it up prior to this video. There's over 160 million eligible voters. How much of them at least registered? What about the other 160 something million? What about those who have no party affiliation? What about them? I wonder. Spoiler: people like me are not mentioned in this video, who have no party affiliation.
Not succession, though we do love that, but secession, as in states leaving the Union, civil war, etc. And while it can be easy to look at strangers on the street and judge them for their political affiliations, these divisions are tearing a surprising percentage of U.S. families apart. Approximately half of Americans report having political beliefs in opposition to their parents, and these
Oh yes, I should have to cry. Oh my God. So a person like in their family, their child. Oh wait, they actually think that people should have a roof over their head. Oh, they think that we should not be committing a genocide in Gaza. Or the kid having actual beliefs that actually aren't fucking garbage. Why is that a bad thing? You know what? is it really worth having a united nation in the first place if we have to suppress what we believe? Yeah. Me and my parents, we weren't too different in our beliefs, but you know what? Good for the kid. If they don't, if they're progressive in their way of thought, then you know what? Fuck those parents. Yeah, they're probably they're sympathetic to Nazism anyway. So fuck them.
Divisions are only making the problems worse. Pew Research Center has found that nearly 60% of US adults find political conversations with those they disagree with to be stressful and frustrating.
This woman will not elaborate, by the way, on why that is.
No matter their political affiliation. The stress associated with political discussions varies across demographic lines, with nearly 2/3 of white people indicating that they find these conversations particularly.
I wonder why. Let's see. Maybe because having a different political opinion can get you fired or get you in a worse position on your job, or you could potentially get killed. I don't know. Dad, she doesn't elaborate on any of this. She leaves it very vague.
Really stressful compared to lower percentages among Black, Hispanic, and Asian adults. Age also plays a role, with those under 50 finding such discussions slightly less stressful than their older counterparts. What this all means is that our divisions are getting worse, not only because we disagree on fundamental issues, but also because we aren't talking to each other. And listen,
this sounds like gaslighting because most of us have tried to talk to the people we disagree with. Some of us try to talk to friends we used to have, or siblings that we used to associate with, or our parents. Majority of the time, it's on deaf ears. Now, I am not that person that's cut contact with my father because we agree on many things. We just disagree on some key issues. I'm not going to get too deep into detail, but generally, we despise what the U.S. government is or what America is. So, when it comes to key issues, we agree mostly. But people of the LGBTQ community, they've always had these problems with their parents. Majority of them, especially when they live in conservative as fuck households. Even those who live in a more liberal household have these issues. This is ridiculous. Like, you talk about empathy, yet you really don't have any empathy for those who are victims of this abuse.
I'm no psychologist, and not.
Yeah, you're not a psychologist. You're definitely right about that.
To get touchy-feely with you, but communication is key to any relationship. I dare you to prove me wrong. Marital problems are easier when there's open communication. Jobs are performed better and with a better attitude when people within the organization are communicating regularly and efficiently. If you're mad about something, you can either sit in silence and stew about it and be petty about it, or you can speak up. Just say what's going on. You
More
will
gaslighting.
Feel better, and whatever the issue is will likely be solved a hell of a lot more quickly and painlessly if you just use your damn words. If you
More gaslighting.
don't agree with me or find yourself pushing against the benefits of increased communication, maybe you should sit with that. See if there's some work that you could be doing on yourself. Maybe.
Wow. What a... Oh, God, this woman is such a... Wow.
There are areas in your life where more communication would be beneficial.
That's easy for you to say when you're in a privileged position where none of these things that's going to happen in the upcoming election is going to affect you one way or another. That's very... My God, wow. What the elitism in this woman. My God.
Maybe start with the man in the mirror, you know? Okay. Therapy session closed. Moving on. The point is that we're not communicating with each other, and that's making the division worse. But listen.
Maybe if you understood what causes... you don't even actually... She doesn't even talk about what causes these divisions in the first place. And that's on purpose. That's by design.
I can already hear you now. I don't want to. They started it. There's no point. They don't deserve my time and energy. And we'll get into your objections towards the end of the video. There were certainly a lot when I posed this question to my Patreon community. But let me just lay out why conversations, especially with people who you don't agree with politically, matter. There's, of course, the argument that a lot of white people have heard and adopted, which is that as white people, we're the ones with the relatives who voted for Trump. We're the ones who need to be doing the work on our own people. But that's easy to
That is true. There's nothing wrong with that.
say, but very difficult to do in my experience.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's showing white fragility. You mean that garbage liberal book? She's not disappointing me. White fragility of all the fucking things. Holy shit.
Unless you have the right tools and attitude, and the person you're talking to does as well, or at least is
Sounds more like gaslighting to me.
willing to listen. Okay, but there are also some selfish reasons why having conversations with Republicans is important for you. When you
Why is it not the other way around? In fact, you ever oh, of course, let's ignore non-affiliated voters.
discuss an issue with someone who is consuming different news and information than you, and whose leaders are putting forth different arguments than yours, you can gain a better
Arguments.
understanding.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this now. If you are someone that supports criminalizing the very existence of trans people, I'm not gonna have that discussion with that person. I'm sorry. No, no, really. No. No, all fucking point of views are fucking valid and need to be fucking acknowledged.
Understanding of the issue, not only the facts of the issue, but also
What issue are you talking about?
what you agree and disagree with, and the nuances of an issue, your blind spots. Believe it or not, you or I don't know much about anything.
Yeah, you clearly have shown in this video you don't know a fucking thing. I mean, you don't use any specific issues to prove your point. You're just very vague. In fact, this video seems to go out of its way to bend over backwards to cater to Republicans rather than the people that are actually that could be reached, that would listen and be receptive to you. You go for the people that just don't give a damn.
Studies show that the electorate on average is woefully underinformed about the issues, and it would be
What issues?
impossible to know everything about every issue anyway. So the point is not to be a know-it-all. The point is that when you talk to someone from a different walk of life, you are naturally going to learn things, which will
What the fuck are you talking about?
broaden your perspective on an issue. Not that it'll
What issue? This woman has not used any examples of any issue because she knows if she were to actually bring up things like what's going on in Israel, in Palestine, or abortion, or the trans issue. Of course, I don't even like listening. I'm saying that, but I'm just saying that's how liberals look at it. She wouldn't be able to argue both ways, so she has to leave it vague. This is why I'm saying that centrists are fascists. Yeah, I'm going to call this woman a fascist because she's catering to these people and won't actually show examples on what she's talking about, because that's not what the point of this video is about. It's about trying to, you know what, Republican voters, you could we'll treat you with kids gloves. Don't worry about it. We'll listen to what you have to say, no matter how heinous it is.
change your mind. It'll simply provide you with more context, which is helpful for forming any argument. Not only that, but it can strengthen your own arguments for why you believe what you do when you see how your perspective holds up to contradiction and questioning. It's also lawyering 101 to understand, study, and anticipate the arguments and viewpoints of your adversary in order to form stronger, more complete arguments. Avoiding your adversary's points or ignoring them altogether is bad lawyering and forms a very weak, potentially literally non-existent argument. It's hard to understand the perspective of those you disagree with unless you talk to them. This is
You have not even listed any examples on anything.
why, when surveyed, most Americans make drastically incorrect assumptions about people in the opposing political party. Americans estimate that 30% of Democrats are gay. Only 4% of Americans are LGBTQ+. Americans think 40% of Democrats are black, when only 20% are. And Americans think that 38% of Republicans earn more than $250,000 per year. Only 1.5% of Americans have incomes that high. And that isn't because of disinterest in politics. The same study found that the more interested in politics a person was, the more likely they were to be wrong in their estimations of the opposing party.
Still nothing about those who are not affiliated with either Republican or Democrat.
Not only is this embarrassing, it also means we're likely wrong about a lot of things when it
You are wrong about many things and about everything in this video. You have yet to talk about those who are not fucking part of either party, who don't support either party.
comes to how we see Republicans. And again,
Why should I fucking see Republicans as anything but fascist adjacent? I mean, have you not been paying attention in the past 40 years? Let's go. I'm just going to use 40 years alone. Most of my lifetime, the Republican Party has shifted further and further to the right. And as a consequence, the Democrats have shifted to the right as well. The Republicans are the reason why the Overton window is so far to the right that there is no left in America. The center is still fucking far right. This video it hasn't argued anything. It's just, we should play nice with Republicans. That's basically what it is. It isn't actually talking about why we should fucking talk to Republicans. Not
this
really.
makes sense because we do not talk to each other, especially the more far left or right we fall. And this is because
Far left, that's a joke. You're not even left wing, lady. You're at best, to be generous, you are in the center.
become only more pronounced in recent decades. Back in the 1980s, it was common for spouses to have differing political views but still live happily married together. That is unthinkable today.
Context, please. I doubt their political views were that much different. I doubt it. It's probably minor stuff that was different. Like, you're acting like, oh, people who are left wing were able to marry people who are right wing. No, liberals and conservatives, again, this woman fucking doesn't even talk about the differences between the two, because if you really dive deep into what conservative way of thought and liberal way of thought is, there is not that much differences. It's superficial. If they were able to get along, that's maybe because the culture was different. Like, again, let's not talk about what the culture was like back then. Not to mention, I don't know, those who were married with people with political beliefs, different political beliefs back then. I don't know. They grew up in the 50s and 60s where women did not have the rights that they do now, that are now being eroded. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe because women don't fucking. I'm bringing up women because women do tend to be more like progressive than men on average. Don't want to put up with a man's shit and are tired of being abused by men. Perhaps that's the reason why. The culture is different now than it was back then. Of course, let's not give context why that is. Again, this video basically goes out of its way to cater to Republicans. I mean, this video couldn't she's not even trying to not fucking say, like, oh, it's okay to be a Republican. That's basically what this video is arguing for.
Not only because polarization has gotten so extreme that the ends of our political spectrum are light years away from each other, but also because political opinions have become personal identifiers for many people. I am a leftist because you are
center-rightist.
I'm a good person. It is fundamental.
No. People are not left-wing because they want to be a good person. They are left-wing because they generally want to make the world a better place. No, this is arguing emotion. I'm not a leftist for emotional reasons. I look at the world and I see it that it could get better. I'm not a fucking leftist for emotional reasons. This is just ridiculous.
to who I am. If I don't show the world that I am leftist and demonstrate left qualities through my words and actions, then people might perceive me as a bad person. Because
Well, you definitely are a bad person because you are arguing that those who are victims of right-wing violence should make peace with the very people that freaking are advocating to put trans people in concentration camps. This is bullshit. This is such bullshit. My God.
to not be leftist makes you bad. And in thinking that, we're simultaneously distancing and dehumanizing those on the right.
And those on the right don't constantly do that to Muslims, Arabs, Jews, anybody in the LGBTQ community, women, the disabled people. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. I don't give a fuck. The right dehumanizes these groups far more than anyone. And you know what? I have no empathy for these people. Fuck them. Majority of these people are in positions of power in society, and they're not working class. Majority of these people, and those that are just fucking bootlickers and freaking foot soldiers of the fucking of the fascist bourgeoisie. No, fuck you. No, this is bullshit.
We're making broad strokes assumptions and leaning into stereotypes in ways we would never do to other
Republicans do fucking make stereotypes out of every freaking group that don't fit their norm.
Groups of people. Leftists pride themselves on empathy and thinking of the welfare and well-being of others, of being selfless and community-oriented. And yet we refuse to extend that empathy when it comes to people who disagree with us politically.
There's a difference between disagreeing with someone. If you have a disagreement on how to apply what you want to do to change the world. I mean, you've never talked to leftists. Leftists argue with each other all the fucking time. And we're not the ones that are advocating to fucking kill each other. Well, yeah, there are those who kill each other. They have, but you know what I mean. We're not the ones that are advocating putting people in camps. There's a huge fucking difference between what the left advocate for and then what the right advocate for, which advocate nothing but to make things worse for everybody else. This is a bad faith argument.
We immediately become bad people in our minds. Full stop. Honestly, as I was
anybody that supports Israel is a bad person. I don't make up the rules. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat.
Writing this script, I kind of worry that you, my viewers, will think I'm a bad person for even suggesting that we offer some form of empathy to Republicans.
I don't have any empathy for Republicans because they don't have empathy for me and or people who are even worse positions than me. No, I'm not going to have empathy for people that basically want to put the disabled in camps or put trans people in camps, to put gay and lesbians in camps, to put Jews in camps, to kill fucking Muslims, who wants to kill fucking immigrants. No, I have no empathy for these fucking people, these genocidal fascists. No, I'm not going to extend my empathy towards them.
That's how polarized we are and how much we dehumanize those we don't politically agree with. That I can have an extensive body of leftist work, over 200 videos. You can go watch them now. And yet
you are not a leftist. You are a liberal. You're not a leftist. You're not one of us. You're not a Marxist. You're not even an anarchist.
You're being labeled a Republican apologist by other leftists because to say a nice
you are a Republican apologist by advocating what you're advocating for now.
Empathetic word about a Republican means to be associated with Republicans generally.
You are literally advocating to talk to the enemy, and they are the enemy. It's like advocating in the 30s on we need to talk to Nazis. Otherwise, Germany is going to fall apart. No, this is the Republican Party as a whole is fucking fascist, and arguing to talk to people that literally want to put a good sect of the population in concentration camps or want to put people in political prisoners. No, these people are fucking dangerous, not just to the proletariat domestically, but worldwide. These people want to fucking start Armageddon. They want to fucking carpet bomb fucking the people of Gaza and the third world. No, these people are imperialists. I'm not going to talk to people that want to commit more genocides against the people of the global south. I refuse.
Which taints your legitimacy as a leftist.
You're not a leftist. You are a liberal. Stop saying that you're a leftist.
Any association with the othered group means you cannot be one of us.
This is another bad faith argument.
We've heard this type of rhetoric before, and it doesn't lead to good places. But of course, I'm not saying people shouldn't be held accountable for their actions.
Nope. That you are exactly saying they shouldn't be held accountable. You're asking for us to go to a group of people that refuse to fucking take accountability for their actions.
If someone does something racist, they should be held accountable. If they
whatever.
storm the Capitol, they should be held accountable. But to label an entire group of people, 50% of our population.
It's not 50% of the population. Almost 50% of the population don't vote.
As bad because of the political party they voted for seems a little closed-minded for a group that prides themselves on their open-mindedness.
You are not open-minded because you're not even open to talk to those who are actually in disenfranchised positions, who have been completely fucked by the system. You're not open to talk to them, but you're open to talk to people who benefit from the system. So no, you are actually self-rejecting here.
I'll just say that. And if you feel yourself really pushing back on this idea, that's okay. You're probably still feeling a lot of anger, resentment, and fear. I've been there. I've felt that for years. Maybe now is not the time for you personally to engage in open dialogue with people.
More gaslighting. Wow, this woman really does hate fucking the victims of right-wing violence.
You disagree with politically. That's something you need to decide for yourself, especially if you're in a group that has been targeted and oppressed by leaders and members of the Republican Party. Maybe you're not in a place to take that on, and you shouldn't have.
We shouldn't be talking to them, period. Even those who are not part of those groups, we shouldn't be talking to them, period. This is a privileged position to take, especially when you haven't not been affected by this violence that these people advocate for. I've been around enough Republicans, I can tell you, most of them do not care about people. They would happily send their own neighbors to concentration camps because they are part of a cabal or some other weird nonsense that they believe.
Which is why I'm making this video, not because I think Republicans will see this, but because I know my audience is incredibly left-leaning, and it is an important conversation to have among.
Yeah, no, you're not. Stop saying you're a leftist. You're a fucking rightist. Stop fucking pretending to be one of us. You're not a Marxist. You're not a fucking anarchist. Unless you subscribe to abolishing capitalism in its entirety, you're not a fucking leftist. It's that simple.
Amongst ourselves, and a reckoning we will be forced to deal with at some point as the political divisiveness continues to come to a head in this country.
Oh God, this is really pissing me off. Just listening to this lady. Oh my God. Oh, you know what? I can understand why, to an extent, there's a lot of fucking people that just do not like feminists because of people like this. Yes. What's up, Pride Tunes? I didn't expect to see you here. Yes. Lawyers cannot be trusted.
Country. Remember how I said like half of the electorate is ready for secession? Last time states tried to secede from the Union, there was a civil war. And a couple weeks
we're suffering through the whole damn thing.
Ago, we talked about the alarming increase in political violence that has happened in this country in recent years. This is not a remote possibility. This is something that we should be contending with and doing whatever it takes to deal with head on. Unless, of course, you're one of the many people who said they're in favor of secession, in which case I guess this video won't be very persuasive for you.
I'm not for secession. I'm for balkanization.
And the way I see it, we live in a country where there are many people with many opposing viewpoints. That makes sense.
This is completely missing the point.
There are 330 million.
This is so childish how she's like framing this. I mean, this is, of course, she's catered to the very audience she's trying to get to, like, watch her content. Because let's be honest, Republicans have a very childish outlook. Same thing with freaking Democrats when it comes to politics. Very fucking childish. Like, this is not even how things are in reality. Politics is far more complicated than just Republican and Democrat. Far more complicated. Yet this lady makes politics into a fucking team sport.
Of us. We're not all going to agree with each other. And screaming at each other isn't going to change that. So we can.
Hold on. Let me go back.
Makes sense. There are 330 million of us. We're not all going to agree with each other. And
okay, hold on. You see that? Look at that. She's literally advocating that on like these groups here, their opinions are fucking valid. You know, those who are against, who support abortion. Not support abortion, that are against abortion. Against fucking women's rights, the fucking abortion, that those people's rights to basically voice their reactionary bullshit is as valid as those who supports a woman's right to her bodily autonomy. Wow.
Screaming at each other isn't going to change that. So we can either
gaslighting,
dig in our heels and continue to regard half the population as enemies until it comes to a head, probably violently, or
maybe you should advocate for people to defend themselves, but no, liberals like you don't like the idea of the proletariat having guns.
We can say, okay, we are going to disagree. That's part of existing in a community this large. How do we ensure our survival? Maybe we can start by not dehumanizing the other 50% of the population. And to do that, we have to have empathy and engage in conversations. If you are ready to have those conversations with people who you don't agree with politically, I think it could be a really powerful thing because
yes, you're right. The liberal conservative dynamic of politics is to prevent people from moving further to the left. Yeah, the whole point is to like make it so people don't see politics beyond conservative and liberal, even though it's far more complicated. They don't want politics to. They don't want people to actually discuss politics in an adult way. They want to make politics into an adult sport. I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative. Even though when you eventually break out of that, you find out the Republican and Democrats, along with liberal and conservative, there isn't much of a difference. It's yes, there is obvious differences, but it's so superficial. There's so little differences between what a conservative believes and what a liberal believes, and it's basically pointless to even like have this discussion with the difference between liberal and conservatives, because liberals are basically conservatives. It's just they are far more they're more reluctant to even say they're conservative, unlike open conservatives. That's basically what it is. They're both conservative ideologies. It's just one is more open about their conservatism while the other is more covert about it.
In talking to people with different experiences from our own, we gain new perspectives and our understanding of the nuance of divisive issues will improve.
Why isn't the right advocating for this? Oh, wait, never mind.
Us better at addressing those issues. The goal is not to stop fighting for the causes we believe in or to tone ourselves down or
you're advocating for us to do that.
Others talk us out of our beliefs. The goal
you're
is
advocating for that too.
Become more effective, credible, and collaborative in our beliefs and our
You mean you're arguing for class collaboration, ADK fascism.
Work. And if our work is to strengthen our communities and our relationships, or at the very least avoid continued political violence, then difficult conversations have to happen and they have to be effective. And I've said this many many times, but as much as we care about who the president is, the real impact and the real change happens at the local level. So stronger communities and more open dialogue can have really important impacts on your day-to-day life. Luckily, there have been many studies and projects that have tested ways to have constructive conversations. So we have actionable steps we can take to engage in the scary, hard, but important conversations with people who don't agree with us. Before we get into these steps,
you are not a leftist. Stop saying that you are.
I want to note that it's important to take the context of the conversation into consideration. Are you sitting down with your mother to talk about difficult issues that you can't seem to see eye to eye on, but you want to resolve to repair your relationship? Because that's a whole different vibe than getting involved in an argument in the comments section of a YouTube video with a stranger on the internet, you know? So keep that in mind. Step 1. Determine whether this conversation is worth it to you. Before
I don't think it's worth engaging with most of these people.
diving into potentially contentious discussions, assess whether engaging in this discussion is even beneficial in the first place. Sometimes, understanding another person's perspective doesn't require direct dialogue right away. It can be gleaned from other sources. Maybe this moment or this person isn't the way forward. Step 2, determine what your goal is. Is your goal to foster connection with the person or increase your understanding of the issue while providing your perspective? That's a realistic expectation to bring to the conversation. If
Have you considered that some of your audience members have tried this and it's not worked?
your goal is to change the person's mind, you will probably be sorely disappointed. That's not an effective or realistic expectation to have.
Then what the hell are you arguing for, though? We should be changing people's minds if we're going to deprogram them from reactionary thought, or at least consider an alternative way of thought. This is arguing for nothing.
Have when you engage in conversations with people who don't agree with you, and it will likely lead to frustration on both sides. Step 3, establish consent and set the tone. Signal your intention to navigate tricky topics with care by asking permission to broach sensitive subjects.
Again, there are members of your audience who are part of these groups that have been victims of these of right-wing violence have tried this. It hasn't worked.
This approach helps create a safe space for dialogue, showing respect for the other person's comfort levels. Be mindful of verbal cues and absolutes that may indicate a reluctance to engage in open-minded discussion. This is especially
Wow, she's talking down to her audience like we're stupid children. Fucking God.
important in a
This is so
situation where you're sitting
insufferable.
down to have a difficult conversation with your mom. But even if you're engaging in a discussion with a stranger, you want to gauge where they're at and what level of comfort they have with the conversation. If you come in hot and they're not ready for it, or they seem on edge or evasive or antagonistic, this might not be the right time or the right person to be having this conversation with. Taking a second to start the conversation by asking the person whether they're comfortable having it in the first place is a good place to start.
Again, you don't list an example of what to talk about. Have you noticed how she never brings up examples?
4, find common ground. Begin conversations by acknowledging points of agreement. This strategy not only sets a positive tone, but also emphasizes
Again, no example.
the goal of mutual understanding instead of the goal of winning arguments.
Can I just say this? Like, this is so childish way of looking at the world, because that's not how politics works in the real world. People are not just going to like the only people that are going to find common ground are those who already have like an agreement when it comes to what they believe. Like two leftists arguing about like about whatever. I'm just whatever example you can think of in the top of your head. Like it's different from when you're talking about like, okay, how are we going to build a better world? How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? What will work and what won't? That is the completely different than talking to someone that is opposed to you in every way, that actually wants you and everybody that's associated with what you believe in dead. It is not the fucking same thing.
Listen actively to identify areas of consensus and use these as a foundation to explore differences more constructively. For example, if you're discussing with someone their choice to vote for Donald Trump and they say it's because he's going to drain the swamp, that's an excellent opportunity to say, I agree that our government is filled with politicians who don't have our best interests at heart. You will be shocked to find that a lot of people have very similar motivations and values, no matter who they vote for. I found this in my videos reacting to alt-right
Not every oh God.
TikToks. works. A lot of the time, people are motivated by a
Oh,
feeling of
God.
not being heard by their representatives.
Oh, yes, I should feel sorry for a bunch of alt-righters. Fuck you.
Or a suspicion of people in power because of that feeling of powerlessness and concern for their well-being and the well-being of their family or community.
Oh, yeah, fuck LGBTQ people, disabled people. Fuck them. Oh, we have to listen to, the poor right-wing babies because we can't, because their feelings are hurt by something that some lefty said. Oh, God.
The more you can find
I
that you
don't
agree
know why
on, the
I'm
less
torturing myself.
antagonistic and more constructive the conversation will be. Step 5, foster open dialogue. Encourage
Oh,
a two-way
God.
exchange by talking less and allowing the other person ample space to share their views.
Not everyone's views are valid. Oh my God, this lady. Oh
Replace
God, this is
confrontational language with
torture
phrases
watching
that
this.
build on what the other person says, avoiding dismissive terms like but, which can negate the preceding statement. This approach promotes a more balanced and reciprocal dialogue. If you're going into the conversation with the goal of making a few zingers and arguing your point so thoroughly that there's no way they could disagree with you, you're going to be disappointed, and they're going to feel attacked, which will make them shut.
Oh God. Oh yeah. I guess if you're arguing over what's going on in Israel, it's like you're explaining why Israel is a fascist, genocidal state. But wait, we have to listen to our parents that support Israel, their point of view about it, right? Oh yeah, you know what? Israel, they kind of have a point. What they're doing over in Gaza, it's like, yeah, that's what this lady's advocating for. Like, we no, 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 not. We don't have to accept all points of view. They're not all valid. The right wing don't see all our views as valid. We should treat their views the same way they treat ours. Fuck you.
Shut down and probably
Oh, God.
reinforce every assumption they have about people like you. This frankly does more harm than good. Open
Okay, I'm gonna yeah, I can see what you're getting at, and I'm not too familiar what you're talking about, actually. Maybe at a different time we could have that conversation because I'm just not too familiar with it. No, we are not ending it here. We're struck. We're gonna torture ourselves with this bullshit. We're hearing all of it.
dialogue requires you to listen and be curious about the other person and be more interested in learning than in winning. Also, resist the urge to be provocative just for the sake of it, because this often also does more harm than good, which escalates tensions rather than easing them. Step 6, maintain respect and avoid condescension.
You mean what you've been doing throughout this entire video?
Approach the conversation with humility and an open mind, recognizing that being informed does
Oh,
not equate
God.
to being superior. Treat the other person as an equal, capable of teaching you something new, and express gratitude for the opportunity to engage in dialogue, even if it's disagreement. Step 7, personalize the conversation. Share personal stories and experiences rather than relying solely on abstract arguments.
People have done that too. I've done at my job, explained to one of my coworkers why these programs that help the disabled, why they're needed, why on if it weren't for programs like Social Security to exist, I would be homeless because I wouldn't be able to afford a place to live with my job. He disregarded everything I said and basically told me to suck it up. So no, why the fuck should we have to share stories that are personal to us? Just to give these people to have empathy for us. If they have no empathy for us already without giving into personal shit, they're not going to have any empathy afterwards. It's like this video argues to bend over backwards to not hurt these people's feelings.
This method can help humanize the discussion, making it easier to connect on an emotional level and foster empathy. Study after study has shown that telling people facts does nothing to persuade them to change their mind. People aren't driven by facts, they're driven by emotions. And by sharing personal stories and asking them to share their own personal story, you're opening them up to you as a human, which fosters better connection. One way.
That's not how it's been from my experience, and I'm pretty sure those who are part of the LGBTQ community who have been disowned by their parents could contest to this as well, or suffering from violence, whether it's from a like right wing extremist church they were once a part of. It's like, no, this woman is completely detached from reality of the average person who are a part of these groups. It's basically putting the burden onto them rather than having the people who are fucking the perpetrators to actually rethink their lives.
Way to do this is, instead of asking why they believe something, ask them how they came to that belief. The difference in why versus how can be very powerful. One is asking them to explain themselves, which can feel like an attack. The other is asking them to share about themselves. Personalizing the conversation has been proven to be one of, if not the only, effective way to actually get people to change their minds or be open to changing their
That's
minds.
bullshit. I've talked to a Republican leaning person about regarding why I am so serious about politics. And you know what? He had even less empathy for me than he did before he knew my story. So no, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about.
Deep canvassing, a technique aimed at fostering acceptance and support for progressive causes by engaging in meaningful conversations with those who hold opposing views, is gaining traction as an effective method for changing minds and reducing prejudice. This method stands out not only for its approach, but also for its proven effectiveness through rigorous research and real-world application. A 2016 study published in Science first showcased the potential of deep canvassing, demonstrating its ability to sway opinions on issues like LGBTQ rights. This was further solidified by a subsequent study, which replicated these findings across 3 placebo-controlled field experiments. These studies revealed that deep canvassing could lead to lasting changes in opinions and reductions in prejudice, moving the needle in ways traditional canvassing and advocacy methods have struggled to achieve. The core strategy of deep canvassing involves engaging individuals in conversations that encourage reflection on personal experiences and empathy towards marginalized communities. Unlike traditional canvassing, which often relies on presenting facts or statistics, deep canvassing focuses on sharing personal stories and listening to others' experiences without judgment. This approach allows
He
individuals
doesn't
to
list
connect
examples of how this works.
on a human level and reconsider their views in a non-confrontational setting. The experiments highlight the importance of patience, listening, and avoiding call-out culture as key to the success of these conversations. Their findings suggest that by engaging in a two-way exchange of narratives, individuals are more likely to see a tolerant attitude as consistent with their own self-image, thereby fostering genuine opinion change. The approach's success rate is notable, with 78% of people approached agreeing to engage in the full conversation, meaning that instead of slamming the door in their faces, 78% of people agreed to engage in the exchange, and 75% of those people shared their own personal stories. This openness to dialogue indicates an unexpectedly broad willingness among Americans to discuss divisive issues with an open mind.
And to be a little bit more specific, if we were on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is you're 100% against, 10 is 100% in favor of including them in the non-discrimination laws, and 5 somewhere in the middle, and then you have your whole scale there. Where do you think you'd put yourself?
6.
6. Okay, you know someone who is transgender.
I have someone in my family.
So is transgender?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How are you related to them?
It's my nephew.
Your nephew. Or
Niece, whatever.
Niece. Okay. Has she talked to you about that at all?
Actually, that's funny because he felt like I'm not quite comfortable with it, so he stopped talking. Okay.
One of my best friends, great guy, and he is transgender. So he was born a girl. He was raped. He got his chest flattened, and he was really excited about it. He took a bunch of selfies of himself with his flattened chest. He sent a picture back to one of his best friends from high school, and she said, like, she just wasn't expecting it, and I think it really caught her off guard. And she said, "Oh, what? That's really weird." And he had been so excited about that surgery, and it really hurt him, I think, to hear his friend react that way.
Wow. Maybe that's the way I kind of reacted towards him without saying it, but the way I guess I was acting. I mean,
I think it's really complicated.
I didn't even think about it like that. Like, if I was in this position.
So that could then bring you back to this rating scale. It's one last time where 0 is you would 100% vote against including transgender people in non-discrimination laws, and 10 is you would 100% vote in favor of it, and then everywhere in the middle on a scale.
I would totally vote in favor of it.
Totally vote in favor?
Yeah.
Like a 10?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, because
okay, she's using one example, but you know what? This lady isn't like most other fucking people that I'm talking about. People like her are the exception, not the rule.
thought it's only right. I mean, let a person be who they are.
I mean,
deep canvassings.
Again, she doesn't show other examples other than that. And honestly, the woman didn't necessarily disagree with that man in the first place. It's like, that's not a good example, especially when there wasn't much disagreement. This does not do anything to help her case.
Incremental but meaningful impact on public opinion is particularly relevant in tightly contested electoral contexts. Even a small shift in opinions can have a significant impact on election outcomes, making this method a valuable tool for campaigners and activists, but it also proves the power of connecting with people over their lived experiences as opposed to spouting facts off at them and hoping to make them change through sheer force of logic. Step 8. Prepare to be disappointed. Accepting that agreement.
I think every person that has tried, as every single person who pushes back against your video, have done everything that you talk about, and they still have made no progress.
May not always be possible, and focusing on understanding rather than winning can reduce the stress of disagreement. And
why is it that this burden is not placed on the people that you're trying to convince? Why is it always on the victims of these people's violence? Why is it always us that has to do that? Why not them? Again, this is basically victim blaming.
And keep the lines of communication open. Those open lines of communication can lead to further conversation, which can be constructive for eventually changing minds, or at the very least, creating a greater sense of peace and belonging, even when disagreements occur. And remain.
Yes, peace and belonging. What the hell are you talking about? Someone that doesn't feel comfortable being who they are around their parents is never going to feel peace around them. You know what? There's just some people you have to cut up. You have to cut from your life, even if they're a friend or a family member. It's not worth destroying yourself or feeling like shit or ruining your mental health just to maintain a friendship or a connection with your family. No.
Remaining connected with people can have a significant long-term impact. Recent studies highlight a powerful way to help prevent extremism by keeping communication open. Research shows that extremists think less about violence when they see that people like them don't support it. This doesn't just lower their willingness to act.
What do you mean by that? People like them? You mean people that have a fascistic mindset? These people, these conspiracy theorists, a lot of them fucking believe that the Jews are fucking behind shit, that the Jews are controlling everything. What? So now you're advocating for us to basically be friendly with literal anti-Semites?
Violently, it also makes them think more deeply about their choices. Interestingly,
God,
the people influencing them don't have to be extremists themselves. They just need to be from the same community or ethnic group. The key takeaway is that everyday people can play a big role in reducing violent extremism.
You're not advocating for everyday people. You're advocating for the most bourgeois of society, for us to talk to them. Republicans are extremely bourgeois. Same thing with Democrats. How about over half of the population of this country are not affiliated with either fucking party. You're literally advocating to talk to the most bourgeois people. Yes, there's working class people that vote Republican and Democrat, but nearly half the population do not vote or are not affiliated with either party. This video, oh God, I'm glad it's almost over. God.
By openly condemning it. But for this to work, extremists need to feel connected to those who are speaking out against that violence.
Why?
Extremists often isolate themselves within their own groups.
What do you mean by extremists? This is vague. This is also vague. This could also apply to people like us, people who are freaking anarchists or communists. They can apply to us. This is very, but come on, when you say extremists, it can apply to both.
wider society. This isolation is part of what drives psychology suggests.
All right. Sorry, I don't think my internet connection was able to handle the cringe, so it kind of kicked me off. Anyway, you didn't miss much. Let's just fucking end this.
Very effective. Understanding that extremist groups often offer solutions to personal problems is crucial. These groups provide a sense of belonging or purpose to those who are struggling. Recognizing the real issues someone is facing and offering support can help steer them away from extremism. However, if someone is really happy within an extremist group because it meets their needs for belonging or purpose, it will be tough to convince
Again, this could apply to anarchists and communists.
them to leave. In those cases, just being there for them and ready to help when they start questioning their beliefs can make a big difference. Okay.
Oh yeah, I should have sympathy for those who are in a fascist cult, like those in QAnon. Okay.
So that was a lot. Let's reiterate the steps. Step 1, determine whether this conversation is worth it to you. Step 2, determine what your goal is, and if it's to win, maybe reconsider. Step 3,
God.
establish consent and set the tone. Step 4, find common ground. Step 5, foster open dialogue. Step 6, maintain respect and avoid condescension. Step 7, personalize the conversation. And
condescension, what you've been doing to this whole
8,
video.
prepare to be disappointed, but keep trying to connect. All right, now I hope I haven't completely lost you, but I'm sure there are many objections to what I've just laid out. Again, I think there's a lot of anger on both sides, and people are
This isn't a both sides thing.
very quick to dismiss the ideas. I know because I started a discussion around this issue in my Patreon community and got a lot of very helpful feedback. The main objection...
Helpful feedback. I wonder, is it because helpful feedback from those who are so-called former Republicans and don't want to be like feel left out because people like me don't actually trust a Republican, whether they're an ex-Republican or not. I don't care. I don't trust fascists.
That this approach is naive. This only works if you live in a fairyland, but out here in the real world, these people...
You are not. You are in a fairyland.
...are too far gone. They'll never get it, and this will never work. And listen, I don't have all the answers, and it's fair.
You have no answer. You advocated for nothing, just like all liberals.
To object to this. It's why I'm bringing it up for discussion. Comment below. I'm happy to discuss further.
Yeah, and you delete comments that disagree with this bullshit fucking gaslighting take on talking to the other side.
But I will say that this is another scenario where you need to check in with yourself and see if you're in a place to have these conversations.
Oh, more gaslighting. Oh God, shut the fuck up, lady.
If you're angry and hurt, that's valid. Maybe this isn't something you're in the right place to
more
be doing
victim
right now.
blaming,
but also, I would
gaslighting.
argue that this approach, the idea that you can and should have open conversations with people you disagree with, isn't naive if you understand the goal. Again, the goal is not to change people's minds.
And what the fuck is the point of this video then? If our goal isn't to change people's mind,
even to reach the most radicalized people, you're right. They probably are too far gone and would need to come around on their own. Like I said, studies show that if someone feels happy and included within their extremist group, it's really hard to get them to leave. But those extremist people, while their numbers have grown in recent years, still constitute a relatively small portion of the population. There are many people who will vote for Trump who wouldn't storm the Capitol. The people on both ends of the political spectrum tend to be the loudest, but most people fall somewhere in the middle and tend
the middle. Oh God, this bullshit.
Be more open to compromise and dialogue than we think. Especially
compromise. There is no compromising with people that are like, okay, I'm just going to say this. And of course, I've said this in my community post, but I'll say it here since people can verbally hear me say it. If you are in the middle, about what's currently going on in Palestine, fuck you. If you haven't decided at this point that Israel is and are a bunch of fucking Nazis, fuck you. I don't trust you. I don't. You have it. I don't want a fucking dagger in my back. If I can't like get a 100% fuck Israel. Israel's a fascist state. There is no middle ground on that. And I'm just using Israel as an example because it's recent. Or if people deserve to have their basic needs met. No, there is no middle ground on this. No. Then again, this woman doesn't talk about anything. God, these I forgot how much I despise liberals. I hate them so fucking much. Oh, fuck.
Especially if it means avoiding violence. The goal is to humanize each side of the divide.
No. I don't believe in humanizing fascists. Fascists, well, they deserve to be unalived. Let's just say that.
Because it's the dehumanization that is
violence. Oh, yes. The dehumanization of the poor Republicans, you know, the people that are literally advocating to put people in camps that want to support fucking Benjamin Netanyahu's genocide in Gaza. Oh yes, we must think of these people as human, even though the people that they want to murder, the people they want to commit genocide against, they don't matter.
Is required for violence to occur. My hope and my goal is not to make everyone in this country stand in a circle holding hands singing Kumbaya, or even to make everyone more progressive.
You want a false unity. That's what you want.
As amazing as that would be. My goal is to crack the lid on the pent-up anger in this country before it boils over into greater conflict.
You know that this country is not worth saving. If to preserve the union means that we had to have a false sense of unity, that one group gets fucked over at the expense of another, fucking reactionary fascists, then I will gladly support the balkanization of this country because that's what this world fucking needs. Fuck America. Seriously, you're not going to save this country. Nothing you say in this video will actually preserve the union. It's doomed. It's been doomed for a long time. Writing has been on the wall for over a century now. When you have a culture that is so anti-government that everybody that's slightly to the left of Reagan is a fucking far left communist, like this country's anti-communism is going to be its undoing because some of these fucking people you want to talk to is convinced that fucking everybody in the fucking government, including fucking Democrats, like even Joe Biden is a fucking somehow some hidden communist. No, this is fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid.
I'm literally in the process of obtaining EU citizenship and planning to leave this country because it doesn't feel safe. And
how nice. You get to flee the fascist violence when this country inevitably collapses. Oh, maybe you should investigate fucking what's going on currently in the EU because all those countries are having the same issues that America is having right now.
Doesn't feel stable, and that instability is due to the increased violence and antagonism that's being caused directly by our inability to see each other as humans with whom we share more common ground than we think. So maybe you might dismiss this as naive, but
it's not just naive, it's condescending and it's disgusting and advocating for those who are victims of right-wing violence to basically ignore their suffering, ignore everything that they've been through just for some sense of unity. Like this video, it's just so disgusting.
Someone's got to dream bigger than just wallowing in nihilism about where we're at in this country. I'm not a nihilist. I dated a nihilist once and it sucked. Another objection from my Patreon followers was that you have to call out people for holding dangerous or ignorant beliefs, because if you don't take actions to support your values, do you really even have them? Like I already said,
you literally have no values.
People should be held accountable for their actions and their words.
You don't believe that if you actually believe we need to talk to Republicans.
Whether they've done something racist, or they've stormed the Capitol, or they're screaming at a customer service person who told them to wear a mask. I think in those situations, it is valid to take actions either through legal action or speaking up to defend someone getting attacked. Those are constructive ways to take actions to support your values. I would, however, push back on the idea that the way to take action to support your values is by getting into arguments with people over their beliefs.
This is so God. Oh, thank God. We have 1 minute. Okay, fuck it. I'm not going to pause this video at this point. We're going to listen to the last of this bullshit, and then we'll move. Then we'll end this terrible video.
What are you really doing by telling someone, for example, who thinks that they're being oppressed by having to wear a mask, that they wouldn't even know what oppression is because they've never experienced slavery or war or whatever? You're not changing their minds or their behavior, I can tell you that much. Other than performing your beliefs for others to witness in the moment, which is self-serving, you're not really doing anything to actively help the situation. Taking actions to support your values involves giving mutual aid, speaking to your representatives, attending protests, volunteering for causes you believe in. Yelling at someone for not wearing a mask can feel cathartic, but it's not constructive. As another Patreon supporter pointed out, the people who benefit from us fighting each other aren't the voters or the taxpayers. It's the politicians and their rich benefactors who've been capitalizing on our fear and infighting for decades. Because if we're fighting each other, we aren't fighting or fixing the broken system. And if you want to get involved in these deeper conversations, as well as support the research and work that goes into these videos, I invite you to check out my Patreon community. You can also chat with me directly in our exclusive Patreon chat room, get early access.
Okay, this video's done. I'm done. I'm fucking done because we watched this whole damn video. Oh God, holy shit, that was. Oh God, holy shit. I am so sorry we had to suffer over an hour of such. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Class collaborationism, gaslighting of victims of right-wing violence. It advocates nothing to change the system, no class analysis. And again, expecting a liberal to do class analysis is like, yeah, that's going to happen. Oh God, that's the second time I watched the video. And oh God. Oh God. Holy shit. Hopefully someone else will call out this video, and this is not the only video that does it, but my God, that was worse the second time I watched it. So much gaslighting, so much bullshit and misinformations. To think that I watched her videos, but I think it's useful to understand the enemy. And honestly, that video fucking just has her. She just comes off as a third positionist in that video because, my God, she advocates for class collaboration. She doesn't advocate anything else. She doesn't actually give examples on why this would work, which it doesn't, by the way. But she doesn't give any examples because that's not the point of the video. The very fact that she could just leave the country when shit hits the fan, it's like, wow. It's like, yeah, it must be nice. It must be really nice to be able to, like, pack up your bags and leave America as it becomes more and more fascist, while the rest of us who are in America, who are stuck here, have to suffer the worst of the fascist violence. Yeah, how nice is it? Yeah, fuck the poor working class that is trapped and can't actually leave. Or people that don't want to leave because this is their home. I'm going by the indigenous people of Turtle Island. I'm not even going to call it America. Yeah, she doesn't care about she doesn't care about the working class. Yeah, she only cares about the freaking upper classes because liberals don't give a damn about freaking the actual proletariat. They don't care about those who are in industries that are extremely hard to do. That's basically very exploitative. That's very hard. I just swear to God, it's like there's another awful video that she did regarding, why we should vote for Joe Biden. No, does anyone want to suffer through another one of her garbage videos? Because I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could meet another fucking video of that person. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it unless people here want me to react to more liberal trash, or you want me to like watch more? Like, I don't know. Oh God. Oh God, I don't know if I could do it. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it. I don't know if would this count as reactionary cringe? Because that's exactly what this fucking was. It was such reactionary cringe. Do a Pac-Man video. Do you want me to die of cringe? Oh God, Pac-Man. Holy shit. You know what? Fuck it. David Pac-Man. Let's watch that. Oh God. I only watched a few of his videos, and okay. What cringe do we have? Oh God. Oh God. I know he supports the genocide in Gaza. Oh God. I don't even know what are we going to react to? What cringe? Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. I don't even know which video to watch. There's too damn many. Oh God. Oh God. I don't even know which one to watch. I'm just going to choose a random video because oh God. Oh God. Oh God. I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Hi,
cringe.
I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to hear, but it's important. The shooter who murdered my son,
Okay, I'm sorry.
elementary school.
I have to tell you, I have had a dramatic
Oh God.
upgrade to my opinion of Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over the last 12 to 18 months. The wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, arguably naive rookie that she once was has been supplanted in a good way by a far more pragmatic, practical, realistic, and quite shrewd political operative.
Oh God. This is I'm already cringing. Oh God. Hello, I never watched David Pac-Man before, or if I have, I forgot. Oh my God.
She, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, last night appeared on CNN, interviewed by Jake Tapper.
CNN. That's definitely promising.
In the context of awaiting the results for the New York 3rd District special election, wherein George Santos's old seat was won by Democrat Tom Suozzi. And she was asked by Jake Tapper about concerns regarding Joe Biden's age. I'm not going to tell you in advance what she says, other than to tell you she is absolutely and completely spot on.
Oh my God. How could oh God. He's the liberal equivalent of oh my God, this is so cringe. Oh fucking God.
Take a listen to this.
Do you have any concerns about his age? Do you have any concerns about whether or not he should be the nominee?
I mean, I think right now, when it comes to the president's age, folks are talking about how he's.
He doesn't even know where he is half the time. What the fuck?
First of all, Donald Trump is around the same age as
77, yeah.
He's 77 years old. They could have gone to high school together. And beyond that, Donald Trump has 91 indictments. And
91 indictments. Yeah, he's still running for president. He's still looking to win the White House. Yeah, that really means anything. Yeah, what a great democracy we have, don't we, people? Where a person that actually had a hand in leading an insurrection, yet he's still able to run for president. Don't we love this country? Broken fucking so-called fake democracy.
I know who I'm going to choose. It's going to be one of the most successful presidents in modern American history.
Successful? You mean the guy whose approval rating is just who has been gone down the toilet? He has almost no black support. He's lost the Arab vote over what's going on in Gaza. This is what's considered brilliant. What the fuck? Why am I doing this to myself?
That passed the Inflation Reduction Act, that got us the American Rescue Plan, that ensured that we could pass one of the largest federal investments in climate change in U.S. history. And as far as we go, as we know, virtually all the filing deadlines have passed. There's already been a primary. Voters have outright rejected Dean Phillips. President Biden is going to be the Democratic nominee, and hopefully he'll be reelected as president of the United States.
There are two wings of the progressive wing of the American left, or the American.
Oh God, no. AOC is not a leftist. I'm not going to say this more than once. She's a rightist. End of story.
Democratic Party, or call it what you will. And they have very different opinions about what you just saw. And this is not trivial. This is part of determining what is the path of the American left.
I'm sorry, but this guy, this seems so forced. There's no way he believes this. There's just no way. Is he getting paid by the Democratic Party to say this? There's just no way.
This is a very simple and straightforward analysis from AOC, which I share on a couple different grounds. First of all, she is correctly pointing out, we've got a couple old guys here. We've got Biden and we've got Trump. If you are honest with yourself and with others, and you look at the presidency of Joseph R. Biden, it is very difficult to come away saying that this has been anything, or the list is much longer than we can fit into
unless you consider supporting Israel's genocide in Gaza or giving more money to the billionaire class. Sure, that's successful, but to everyday people, no, it's not considered successful. The economy has been tanking even with Biden in office. The cost of living has gone up under Biden. People can barely afford food or rent under Joe Biden. The cost of living has gone out of control, and wages haven't been able to keep up. How is this successful?
Now, Joe Biden involved in passing multiple major pieces of legislation. No president has done more proactively to normalize cannabis in the United States. I didn't think Biden, which is a must do. I've been talking about it for a decade. He got us out of Afghanistan. It was messy, but we needed to get out, and he got us out. Joe Biden has made a number of small but important changes to Obamacare related healthcare law, expanding the child tax credit. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on.
Bullshit. More people have been kicked off of Medicaid under Biden, and more children are falling more. Child poverty has increased. This is a complete fucking lie.
On paper, this is the most progressive presidency, at least since FDR, and probably ever.
What? What the fuck? What the fuck did I just hear? Okay. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck did I just hear? Agreed. What the fuck? Holy shit. What the fuck? My internet connection's probably being becoming unstable because of this cringe. Holy shit. What the fuck?
Joe Biden has surrounded himself with confident, competent people who get the things done that they're supposed to do.
They probably are doing most of the fucking work as Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is half the time.
Period. And AOC is completely right. But then there's the next part of her analysis. This is not a normal horse race, okay? I don't think it would be accurate for me or for corporate media to pretend that this is just, hey, we got two candidates, everything's totally normal and typical.
I thought this looks like corporate media to me. Your talking points aren't even that much different from CNN.
Two elderly candidates. One of them is under 91 felony indictments. One of them is a former president who already lost and is running again and tried to stay in power after losing and subvert democracy. Everything about this is unprecedented.
There is little difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, except superficial things. In fact, Joe Biden has doubled down on everything Trump did. How is he progressive again?
And unusual.
Oh,
but
shit. Oh, God. Sorry. That was an accident.
Step into Wix Studio, the web creation platform built for agencies.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
I have to tell you, different grounds. First of all, it's very difficult to longer than we can fit into an hour. Joe Biden to normalize. I've been talking about it for a decade. He got us out of Afghanistan. It was messy, but we are and probably ever did. And AOC is completely right. But then this is not a normal media to pretend that this is just, hey, we got two candidates, everything's totally normal and typical. We have two elderly candidates. One of them is under 91 felony indictments. One of them is a former president who already lost and is running again and tried to stay in power after losing and subvert democracy. Everything about this is unprecedented and unusual. But also AOC is right that this talk of kick Biden out, just replace him or whatever. He's the current president of the United States. He's already won every primary that there has been. There's every indication he's going to win every single primary.
This is delusional. Most Democrats and Democratic voters don't want Joe Biden.
Phillips lost to Biden with Biden as a write-in.
Joe Biden only won because Barack Obama stepped in and had most of the candidates drop out so Bernie Sanders would not get the nomination. That's the only reason Joe Biden won. He had no chance otherwise. He was doing badly in the primaries in 2020. Do you live under a rock?
Marianne Williamson has quit. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is no longer running as a Democrat. So it's a bit delusional to think that Biden's going to be kicked out and replaced. Now, if you say to me, David, if Biden weren't president right now, would you be saying out of everybody you could pick, Joe Biden should be the nominee? Obviously not. Obviously not. And Cenk Uygur is going to be back on the show soon, and we're going to delve into this. If we were starting from scratch, my view would be different. But right now, the idea of kicking Biden out, replacing him forcibly, or him stepping aside, if Biden has a major health issue or worse between now and the election, of course he will have to be replaced, and it will be quite an insane situation. But AOC is essentially completely right here. As far as the math, Biden's 81, Trump is 81 minus 3.5, raised to the 91st power, 91 felony counts, and multiplied by Trump's corruption and incompetence. So to me, the math still says Joe Biden. Good for AOC. Now, what's the downside here? There's a wing of the left, a wing of so-called progressives who say she sold out.
Oh, they're not wrong.
She no longer is what she once was. She no longer represents the hope and change that she did.
It's never did.
Called being realistic.
Being realistic. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The typical liberal talking point. Yeah. Let's not change anything because it's not realistic. Wow.
Called I ran in one way before I knew a damn thing about how politics works. Now I'm on the inside.
I don't think you know how politics works.
side and I see how it works. She clearly still remains true to the values and principles that got her elected, but her approach tactically is much more pragmatic. Hard to fault her for that. I'm concerned that some progressives have now turned on her on the basis of her just being more realistic.
Be more realistic, or the fact that she's a fascist collaborator. Oh my God. Holy shit. Is anybody, I don't know if I can handle another video of David Pakman. Holy shit, that was cringe. Holy shit. But no, we'll oh wait, oh my God. Hold on. He platformed literal fascists who advocated to shoot protesters when Trump was president. Well, that goes to show you what. Well, it's not a surprise that Pakman's a fascist, but damn. No, we have to do more cringe. I mean, come on. We got. There's got to be one more video. One more video or something. Yeah, they are. Oh God. Wait. Guys, I think I've been given an idea for another reactionary cringe. How do you guys feel that I react to Jimmy Dore? You know, someone we all used to, well, not all of us used to like him, but I did. Just making sure I'm spelling that right. Because he's a reactionary and he counts as reactionary cringe. What the fuck? Oh God. Okay. I'm not. Well, okay. Oh God. Oh God. Wait, what? Oh my God. Oh God. You should question climate change. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. This cringe is something we are definitely we're suffering through this. You cannot get any more reactionary cringe than
simplify your closet, not
fucking
your style.
Climate change denial. Oh God.
I was just telling you about how now I question everything, including climate change. And what I tell people is that you can believe
fucking
that
hotter every goddamn year, and there's animals that are dying left and right as a result of the climate getting warmer. This is stupid. What the fuck are you doing?
a carbon-based climate change is real. But I know for a fact that everything
They're not fighting
that the establishment
proposed, Jimmy.
Right now, they're trying to shut down Dutch farms. That's what they're saying is the problem. That's the problem. You know, the biggest emitter of carbon even if you believe that the biggest emitter of carbon in the world is the U.S. military. The next time Greta Thunberg protests outside a new military base is the next time I'll believe anything she has to say. Greta Thunberg is a psyop invented by a PR firm. You can keep Dr. Drew over my shoulder. That's what she is. Was the Nord Stream pipeline.
You know what? Jimmy Dore doesn't sound like he believes what he's fucking saying, but this is very opportunist of him. But still, I'm cringing as listening to this.
And that was blown up, right? And who blew that up? The United States, the CIA, and NATO blew that up. And so she's not protesting that. She's not protesting war. She's invited to come to the WEF and speak at Davos. There's no way if she was actually opposing them that they would be inviting her. So this idea that the problem is, oh, by the way, in California, Doctor, you can't have a gas-powered lawnmower or a gas-powered leaf blower. You know what they didn't outlaw? Private jet travel. One private jet travel emits as much carbon as my car does in my lifetime. They'll never ban. So once they ban private jet travel and they close down 8, or John Kerry or Barack Obama or Joe Biden say we have to shut down 800 military bases around the world, that's when I'll start believing what they say about climate change.
So you don't believe in climate change because of this reason? There's no way Jimmy Dore believes this shit. He spoke out against climate change denial years ago. But again, he's appealing to, they give him more money. So those who give him the most money are those he's catering to. And even what he's saying is true. He's pointing out the hypocrisy of these people. That does not mean you should fucking ignore that climate change isn't real. I don't believe Jimmy Dore believes any of this. He's just pandering to his audience.
Not until then.
Do you think I agree. I have a slightly different measure, though. My sort of what I'm looking for is in California, it was something like 10 years of gas-powered vehicles is completely eliminating 10 years of gas-powered vehicles is completely undone by one of our forest fires. So if you were actually serious about carbon emission in California, you would be doing forestry management. That would be your numero uno job. And all these fires we have, they are not because of, they started because of electric companies, but the reason there's such a problem is that we stopped doing forestry management in this state. I grew up in Southern California, and when you looked at the San Gabriel Mountains behind us here, they used to be crisscrossed by these fire breaks. They were all over the place. They eliminated even fire breaks because it was interfering with the migration of a mouse. And so now it's all one thing, and they are not cleaning the floors. They are not doing any logging.
Oh,
because,
God, this is right-wing fucking bullshit.
Well, I mean, again, that's upsetting some owls, and so then they get what they get. So there's number one. Numero one is forestry management. Number two, if you're really serious,
this is what's insidious about this clip. Jimmy Dore knows what he's saying is bullshit, but he's lying anyway because he's selling fucking a narrative to the right.
Getting behind nuclear now. With an efficient way to carbon scrub. And if you're not doing those three things, then you really don't care. You just want to be aggrieved. That's really what you want. You want to push your will on other people.
Elon Musk, his big solution, we just highlighted on the show a couple of weeks ago, was that a carbon tax, a tax on carbon. So people driving gas-powered cars who have to pay for everything, but apparently he doesn't have. By the way, did you know that do you ever think about it this way, that people who drive electric cars don't contribute to the road upkeep or construction because the gas tax is what funds that? So if you're
no one does.
So if you're driving,
no, hold on, but $1 of it is for homelessness too. So he's also not interested in that, at least in this state.
So if you're driving an electric car, you're not contributing to the upkeep of the roads. And again, this is all, follow the money, the scam. Of course, he said, put a carbon.
What Dr. Judah said in the beginning, which is very interesting, I'd never heard before, is the advertising drugs on TV is just so that they can control the media.
That's right.
Which has been blamed on other people for a long time, by the way. That principle applies to every single goddamn law, or every carbon tax. What's the controlling the media of that? Is all you got to do is apply that same principle to every single. This is for your own good law.
What you're talking about a word we don't use maybe enough, which is corruption. Things have been, it's either corrupt or at least adulterated. That's a kinder word. I've been using the word adulterated a lot because I see people that are adulterated don't realize it. And yeah, it's infected everything. And and is not letting go.
Well, people don't. So when people turn on MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, or read the New York Times or read the Washington Post, they literally think they're getting the news. Now, Noam Chomsky and Ed Herman wrote a book 25, maybe 30 years ago called Manufacturing Consent. And there
Yeah, maybe you should reread that book because you're basically doing the work of the corporate media that you claim to oppose.
proved that the media is.
Oh, you know what? I don't need to watch the whole fucking thing. Fuck. Honestly. God. Jimmy Dore doesn't fucking believe it, what he's fucking saying. He really doesn't. Interesting. So 1 million, he has over 1 million subscribers. I wonder why. Oh, perhaps selling to your audience fucking bullshit that even you may not believe will give you money. Oh God, this. Oh shit. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
Tucker Carlson sat down and the people asked, "Hey, why did you want to interview Putin now? Why did you want to do it now?" Here's what he said.
I'll start in reverse order. Why now? Well, I've been trying for 3 years to do this interview. The U.S. New York Times, and that spooks the Russian government into canceling interviews. So I've been trying to do this, but my country's intel service is working against me illegally, and that enraged me because I'm an American citizen, 54, I pay my taxes, I obey the law, and there was no expectation in the America that I grew up in that my government and its intel services and CIA, which are always outwardly focused on our foreign enemies, would be turning inward against American citizens, and I'm shocked by that, and I'm infuriated by that. And so once I discovered that was happening, I confirmed it was happening, they did it, then I was totally determined, monomaniacally dedicated to doing this interview, not simply because I want to know what Vladimir Putin's like and what he thinks about the war that is resetting the world and really gravely damaging my country's economy, but also because they told me I couldn't on the basis of means. And for no
Tucker Carlson would have supported this if it was this war if it was Trump. Come on, let's be real with ourselves.
And I thought I can't stand. I want to live in a free country. I was born in one, and I'm going to do whatever small thing I can do to maintain the society that I love.
You are known to be pro-Republican Party, right wing of the Republican Party.
So let me just say, that's why he did the interview now. And he found out he wanted to do it earlier. He found out his own intelligence community was spying on him and releasing it to the press. And he said, "I'm a good American my whole life. I pay my taxes. Before I never thought that would be turned against me." And of course it is. Your government is your enemy. The media is your enemy. They're working against you. Okay. There's people out there who think Bill Gates cares about them. I'm not kidding. Here we go.
They said first you've been a Democrat, Republican. Okay. Or you are known to be pro-Trump, anti-Biden. What is truthful in this? And you went to
do this whole fucking thing. I'm sorry. It's like I walk on Black Red Guard.
Zelensky, why don't you allow us to put nuclear weapons on Russia's border? You're cruising for a war because you know that's the red line. Because Putin has said that, and any close observer of the area already knows.
Now, do you have an explanation, a reasonable explanation, why there is this anti-war and this very negative remarks about this interview from a lot of your colleagues and a lot of politicians in the world?
One of the ways that I think I'm different is I don't like the internet, and I haven't seen any of the reaction. And I would imagine, I'm not the most popular person among my colleagues in the United States. I wouldn't have dinner with them anyway, so it's no great loss. But I can't imagine what their motives would be. I didn't go to Russia, of course, to promote Vladimir Putin. And if that was my purpose, I'd say so, because I'm not embarrassed. I went because I felt that most Americans in whose name all of this is being done don't really know what's happening, and they know nothing about the guy they're supposedly at war with unofficially. And I just felt that my job, if I have,
this is boring. You know what? Let's watch Spanky. Who wants to react to this Spanky? Who wants to react to Spanky? I wonder what he has to say about this nonsense regarding Putin. I mean, come on. Let's watch some Spanky. I mean, he's a reactionary. He's you know what? I'm just gonna rename this stream Reactionary Cringe because it is a fucking cringe fest from reactionaries. Okay, let's see. There's no way he's not talked about Vladimir Putin. No one knows where Marxism and creativity. Oh God. We hope to meet Kim Il-sung. Oh. Okay. Wait, this fucker went to Spanky's conference? Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Holy fuck. Oh God. Socialism has matured beyond the left. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit. Socialism has matured beyond the left. I'm just looking. Oh God. I'm just interesting that Caleb Maupin would not talk about the interview with fucking Tucker Carlson. It's interesting. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't talk. You know what? Let's listen to Socialism Has Matured Beyond the Left. Let's hear what kind of beautiful, insightful things that Spanky has to say.
Amazing helps Anthony through night classes. Amazing starts at CSL Plasma. Donate plasma to.
And to build, that's what they remember about communism. In Cuba, people don't remember Fidel Castro coming to power and executing lots of people from the old regime and stadiums full of people cheering as the old regime is executed. People don't remember those as good years. The people who love Fidel Castro love him for building a healthcare system. They love him for paving the roads and teaching literacy. And they love him for the good things he did.
What the fuck? Everyone here looks bored. What the fuck is this?
Bring people together. They love Fidel Castro for the Christian aspect of what he did, not for the libidinal release, the destructive aspect of what he did.
What the fuck?
And the strength of socialism around the world is its ability to construct and to build community and to bring people together. And the left, the libidinal release, that energy that comes out of the French Revolution, it says, burn it down, tear it down.
That's not what the left advocate for. That's actually what the right actually push, but whatever.
People permission to be angry. You angry? You angry? You angry? You can be angry. Go tear something down. Go destroy that wrecker energy.
Oh God. Okay, Caleb, there's no way Caleb Maupin doesn't know this, but creation and destruction are the same side of the same coin. To build a new society, you have to destroy the old one. This is if you actually were a communist, you would understand that, but you're not. This is so cringe. I can't take this serious. I can't take this seriously.
It's no longer in.
He looks so angry.
In the hands of communists. That's in the hands of the imperialists. That's in the hands of George Soros. That's in the hands of Facebook.
Hey, anti-Semitic dog whistle.
And Twitter. They're the ones that have that wrecker energy. The left aesthetic is now the property of the imperialists. And the socialist countries of the world, in a way, you could argue that they're conservative because they all.
What? What? What the fuck did I just? What the fuck? They're Holy shit. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know if this is intentional, but these oh god. Holy shit. What the This is this is this is this is I don't know if this is intentional, but this is comedy gold. Oh my god. Oh god.
Offer stability to their population. They offer protection from the chaos and the turbulence of the market, from unemployment.
This sounds like this doesn't sound like a socialist at all.
The socialist countries of the world offer people a world where human beings matter, where people are not simply a mere financial calculation. And they offer a society where people feel an obligation to each other. They are standing up against the philosophical irrationalism that comes out of the West, which is really the logical conclusion of what called itself left. But communism has matured beyond that. Left was a stage communism had to go through. Because there was so much corruption that was there first, communism had to be left. It had to be destructive. It had to mobilize.
Oh god, this MAGA communism, is this what you're advocating for?
The peasantry against the landlords. That was necessary. But now the idols have been swept away. And now we can connect with the higher truth that was there. And now we can bring truth and justice back into the world. And socialism has matured beyond the left, while the dying, decaying old system does its best to hold on to what's left and use it to try and fend off the brave new world that's emerging. And those are my thoughts on the topic of faith and socialism. And I hope to hear a lot of interesting discussion after this.
Oh my god. What the fuck did I just watch? Seriously, what the fuck did I just watch? Holy shit. Fuck. Fuck. It sounds like holy shit. Oh my god. So much material. Okay. It was barely, I was barely able. Oh god, Pope Francis is right. Christianity and communism. Oh my god, is this founder of trans movement was a tanky who supported Iran. Oh god. Wait. Oh my god, he's talked to this lady? Oh my holy god, this guy's talked to nothing but fucking fascists. He's talked to another libertarian. Holy god. Oh god. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're one of the biggest anti-communists of them all. Again. Oh my fucking god. Oh, probably a transphobic rant video. Okay. Okay. Oh god. You know what? Let's torture ourselves with this masterpiece.
Get ready to
I don't
refresh
know if
your
we're
home
ready
and
for-
shop the Living
for
Spaces
Caleb
President's
Hoffman's
Day event, where
wisdom.
you can save big on a variety of designs that update and elevate every room. Enjoy better living with sofas starting at $350, easier entertaining with dining sets starting at $250. And
Guys, I don't think we're ready to hear the wisdom of Caleb Maupin. I don't think we're ready. I do not think we're we're ready to listen to the wise and Caleb. What is he gonna teach us about communism this time? What's gonna come out of his mouth? Will it blow our minds? Let's find out.
Where does the word proletarian come from? Well, we have to go back to ancient Rome, don't we? Does anyone know what the word proletarian literally means? It actually literally means one who has children. That is the definition of a proletarian. That's really what it means. The class, the ones who procreate. And the reason that was the term used for certain people in ancient Rome is in Rome you had slave owners and you had slaves, and the proletarians were neither slaves nor masters. And all they had were their children. They didn't own any land, they didn't own any property, but no one else owned them. They were the class that had nothing but their children. The only way they could have property is if they had children. Your children were considered to be part of your property. And the proletariat had never existed before until ancient Rome.
How dare him have Fred Hampton in the background when Fred Hampton would fucking shoot people like Caleb Muffin.
You know, in other societies, you know, you have slaves, you have masters, you have serfs, you have landowners. There'd never been a proletariat before. And that's why when great kings from all over the world, when Cleopatra and others visited Rome, they were shocked because they knew that Rome was the capital of the world. This was the capital of the modern world, the center of this global empire. But they would see homeless people on the streets. They would say, how can this be? How can this be? Well, that's because when you have proletarians, you have homeless people. Because if the proletarian can't sell their labor, they can't survive. And so this great city had a big problem of all these crowds of desperately poor and homeless people. And Julius Caesar, part of the way he built up his power is he became a champion of the proletariat. And he started passing laws to help the proletariat and things like that. And that's part of why he was killed. This is what you have to remember about Rome. See, back in Rome, you know, we understand, you know, they had the polytheism, where they believed in different gods. And the way Rome was set up was that every section of society, Navy of Rome, they worshiped the god Neptune, and they had a special temple for the god of the ocean, Neptune. They had special rituals that only sailors would engage in because they were worshiping the god Neptune. There were parts of the military that worshiped Mars, who was the god of war, and they had certain ceremonies they would engage in. And these were called the mystery cults, right? It was based on your profession. You prayed to a certain god, you engaged in certain rituals. There were certain teachings that you learned as you became, if you were a sailor for a few more years, you'd learn more about the legend of Neptune and his life. And these were called the mystery religions.
Have you noticed how Caleb Maupin never talks to a crowd of people? It's only his fucking cult members.
Cults. This is how Rome was set up, as they had this. And as the proletariat in Rome started organizing and started withholding their labor and saying to the employers, you know, the pipe fitters and the bricklayers, they started to develop their own mystery religion. A lot of them were from Greece. A lot of them were Jews from Palestine. And when they would get together and organize as the proletariat, they started to worship their own God. And they started to have their own mystery religion, if you will call it that. And they started to worship Jesus the carpenter. This is a historical fact. Go read The Foundations of Christianity by Karl Kautsky. Christianity as a religion began as the political expression of the Roman proletariat. That's what it began as. The proletarians were asserting their rights and fighting back against their employers. They developed their own mystery religion. They worshipped a craftsman just like they were.
This is revisionist history. That's not the origin of Christianity.
A lot of them were Jews from Palestine, and they began to organize and to fight for the rights of the proletariat. And as we know, back in ancient Rome, the Romans were not particularly thrilled about this, you know, and that Christians were being persecuted, etc. But after the Christians continued, and after so many of them had been fed to lions, and so many of them had been burned at the stake, and it still existed, there started to be some within the Roman ruling elite who started to say, well, you know, maybe there's parts of this Christianity thing that we can co-opt for ourselves. You know, we have this problem with homeless children. These Christians, they built orphanages, so maybe we could
he's taking some truths that they actually did co-opt Christianity for their own ends. But how is Caleb Maupin going to twist this into some like fascistic fucking like pseudo like communist horseshit? Let's watch. Let's listen to his wisdom. Nobody can compare to Spanky in terms of his intelligence. I'm just awed by his presence.
to build orphanages and deal with this this homeless children problem, you know? And all over the empire, you know, we have all these people fighting against us. And when they rally against us, they always have their own God they rally around. But these Christians, they believe in only one God. So we could outlaw all the other gods and just have one God. And so you saw Christianity being co-opted and adjusted and taken from being a revolutionary movement and turned into a mechanism for stabilizing the empire. And the Christians, when the early Christians were talking, they were talking about how one day Jesus was going to return and he was going to tear down the empire. And they were going to create a society where the last shall be first and the first shall be last. And those who were loyal reigned for 1,000 years. However, as Christianity was getting watered down and adjusted,
it's why
it started to become, well, you know, you should obey the Roman Empire because, you know, look ahead to the next life. Think about the next life, you know, be obedient and submissive. And Christianity was being watered down and adjusted to serve the needs of the Roman Empire. And if you think about it, that's a lot like something that's happened to our movement. There are elements that have taken socialism, the movement of the proletariat, and turned it into a mechanism for trying to stable their empire. You know, I mean, you think about Jesus Christ. How would Jesus Christ feel if he returned now to see a church with a Ukrainian flag supporting the neo-Nazis in it? But then, dare I go there?
Jesus would reject you and see you as a heretic.
Go there. How would Lenin or Stalin or William Z. Foster or Gus Hall feel if they saw the disgraceful organization that calls itself the Communist Party USA?
It was a disgraceful organization long before he had a falling out with them. They sold out the proletariat every chance they got. They stabbed the Black Panther Party in the back. They've always been a disgrace. You just hate the CPUSA, the Communist Party USA because they don't want to be part of your little cult.
So much evil is being done in the name of our movement right now. What began as a movement to liberate the proletariat and destroy empires has been hijacked as a mechanism for trying to stabilize their empire.
You mean like China? You know, it's using communism to fucking push a fascist movement. How China is basically a fascist state, but we all know, like you are a fascist and you support China, what it's doing to the global South. China has taken communism and freaking real communism and fucking appropriated it. Like most of the people in the Communist Party in China, you don't even have to be a communist to be part of the Communist Party. There's fucking billionaires. Really? Yeah, China, if anything, is the one that actually has truly co-opted Marxism and turned it into a tool for fascism.
And people say, well, Caleb, don't be sectarian. Don't be divisive. Don't talk about this. We have a responsibility to talk about this. We have absolutely a responsibility to talk about this. If you want to read some angry writing, go and read the writings of Vladimir Lenin when World War I was breaking out. Because World War I would not have happened if it weren't for socialists who sold out and let it happen. And if
like you, Lenin had actually denounced people like you, opportunists who was for an unprincipled peace over revolution.
Socialist movement had stuck to its principles and said, we'll never send workers to kill other workers, World War I wouldn't have happened. But they sold out, they abandoned their principles, and 20 million workers were sent to their deaths. This is what he says. Neither we nor anyone else can calculate precisely what portion of the proletariat is following or will follow the social chauvists and opportunists. This will be revealed only by the struggle, and it will be definitely decided only by the socialist revolution. And it is therefore our duty, if we wish to remain socialists, to go down lower and deeper to the real masses.
Interesting, considering how you and your cult, how they look at homeless people and how they look at the lumpen proletariat. Interesting.
This is the whole meaning and the whole purport of the struggle against opportunism. By exposing the fact that the opportunists and social chauvinists are in reality betraying and selling out the interests of the masses, that they are defending the temporary privileges of a minority of workers, that they are
like you, who cares more about preserving the American empire than actually fighting for socialism.
Vehicles for bourgeois ideas and influences, that they are really allies and agents of the bourgeoisie. We teach the masses to appreciate their true political interests and to fight for socialism and for the revolution, all through the long and painful vicissitudes of imperialist war and imperialist armistices. The only Marxist line in the world labor movement is to explain to the masses the inevitability and the necessity of breaking with opportunism, and to educate them for revolution by waging a relentless struggle against opportunism, to utilize the experience of war to expose the utter vileness of national labor politics. So when we have a situation like this, where the imperialists are stirring us up for war against Russia, and we see organization after organization and entity after entity that speaks in the name of socialism,
Russia is also imperialist.
Supporting that, it is our duty to go lower and deeper to the real masses to expose the opportunists. That is what our job is. And it's not our job to try and please them.
And why are you in a cult and not actually talking to real people? Maybe because your language is not something that most people want to hear. I mean, this guy is so out of touch with reality. I mean, holy fucking shit. It's like, how many people are in this room? Like 20 or 30 people at most, just to be generous. Why isn't he talking to real people?
It's not our job to try and go to them and accommodate them and be part of them. It is our job to go lower and deeper to the real masses to expose the opportunists. That is our job. We should be knocking on doors in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Kentucky and Minneapolis and wherever to tell people about why to oppose the synthetic left. That's what our job should be.
Synthetic left, you mean you?
Out of the movement! Out of the movement! Out of the movement! Out of the movement!
Oh my God, I was right.
Out of the movement! I was on a show with libertarians, Pasta was here earlier. And, they were saying, well, Caleb, we see how corrupt the government of the United States is. Why would you want to expand the government? I said, I want you to imagine we had a different kind of government. Instead of having a government that's weak and pathetic and rolled over and does whatever Jeff Bezos and Wall Street said, let's imagine for a moment that we had a government that kicked Jeff Bezos' ass.
Why would we even allow Jeff Bezos to exist in the first place? Or people like him? If you were a communist, which you're not, you would advocate compensating all the unearned wealth from all these fuckers. No, this is bullshit.
Let's imagine a government that fought against the rich and powerful and was strong enough to rejuvenate this country and rebuild it, and was strong enough to say that Russia and China and Iran and Venezuela would be great friends in doing so. They want growth, we want growth, and let's kick the degrowthers out of Washington, D.C. Imagine we had a government.
Degrowthers. There is no such there is no such thing in Washington. This is
government like that.
Oh God.
And let me also add that Che Guevara, he very famously said that true revolutionaries are motivated by great feelings of
Che, don't compare. Wait, you're comparing yourself to Che? Oh, you motherfucker!
love. And that's a cliche. It's thrown out by socialists a lot, but it's really important for us to understand it now, because you can't organize people if you hate them. You can't organize people if you look down on them. You can't organize people if you think you're better than them.
What's funny is he's correct, but not for the reason that he thinks.
And that a lot of what passes for socialism these days is academic elitism.
Like you.
And it's love the masses of people. So of course they can't organize them. We have to learn to love people, and it's hard. And there's a lot of backward ideas out there. But an old communist once said to me, it's the only working class we got, Caleb. And this is our responsibility. This is our responsibility. We have to do the hard work. And the hard work is not staying safe in our movement safe spaces and accommodating them and
like what you're doing currently,
compromising our principles in order to appease them. The hard work is going out of the movement to the masses. That's right.
You haven't done.
AOC, Good night. I wanted to like AOC. You know, I'm photographed with AOC. Before she was AOC, even when she had just announced her campaign, I went to a reception and I wanted to like AOC. That's the wrong attitude to have, that we should want to just call out anybody, right? If there's this young woman and she's running for Congress and she believes in socialism, we should have wanted to like her, but you can't like her now because she's pro-imperialist. I mean, and she's made that abundantly clear, but we should try, right? We should have the attitude that anyone who comes along in the power structure could be an ally, and we should try to maintain alliances if possible. It's not possible with AOC. You know, I looked at that tweet she made at the Super Bowl. Did people see this? Yeah, so at the Super Bowl, there was a Christian group, and they made an ad. And the ad, it was, you know, it showed Jesus bringing people together, saying, love your enemies. It showed like children hugging each other and stuff like that. And it was, you know, it was promoting Jesus. She tweets out, I doubt Jesus would spend $1 million to make fascism look better.
Well, she isn't wrong. As much as I hate AOC, she isn't wrong.
That's reprehensible. No, I mean, you know, it'd be one thing if this was an ad opposing abortion or if this was an ad opposing gay marriage. This was just an ad promoting Christian love and brotherhood, and she calls it fascist. That's bigotry, you know? And if there was an ad for Islam and she responded that way, people would call it out. If there was an ad for Judaism and she responded that way, people would call
you had to bring up the Jews, Caleb.
It out. We ought to call that out. And we ought to say to our Christian brothers in the working class, AOC is pushing bigotry against you, and that's not okay. And, you know, Ilhan Omar, you know, another member
but the
of our...
people who are affiliated with that ad are associated with known hate groups. Then again, not that Caleb would care about.
Great squad. She posted, it was something about January 6th. And she said, well, people aren't rallying behind Trump because of their economic suffering, she said.
She's not wrong.
She said, it's not because of economic hardships or injustice. She said, they're just losing their privilege.
Oh, God.
And I look at that ad and I
look, Moffat, just look at his face. He's like seething.
Think, you know, I'm a socialist because I believe everyone has the right to a job, has the right to housing, has the right to education. And when people are losing their jobs and homes, and when communities are falling apart, it's not someone losing their privilege. It's a violation of their rights.
Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about them. You know that. Unless...
Now, you all are great. I've been talking to you all, and we've had some great speeches.
God. No, how much do you bet most of these people are from bourgeois backgrounds and are not even, majority of them are not even working class?
But for just a moment, I want to speak to the isolated, lonely, negative, millennial or Zoomer communist who's watching this at home on YouTube. And I'm going to speak directly to them in the camera. You're watching this and you're feeling a lot of negativity. And you're watching this and you're frustrated and you're angry. And your politics are motivated by anger and frustration. They're frustrated by isolation. And that's understandable in a society like the one we live in, where death is all around you. Death is everywhere in this society. People are dying of opioids. People are killing themselves. We've got the danger of a new world war hanging over our horizon. Death is everywhere. There's a huge effort from social media, from mainstream media, to try and get you to die.
Over 10,000 people have died in Gaza already, with Israeli drone strike.
For just a moment, I want you to look inside of yourself.
Oh my God.
And listen to the part of yourself that wants to live.
That's right.
Oh my God, what the fuck? If you're going to choose life, you're going to need brothers. You're going to need sisters. You're going to need comrades. You're going to need to learn to deal with people sometimes letting you down or doing things that disappoint you. But if you're going to live, you can't do it alone. You need a community. You need people to struggle with. And my whole adult life has been spent in communist organizations And I can't imagine what life would be without this. A lot of people say to me, Caleb, you got this great job as a reporter. Just, make a YouTube video every so often. No, when it comes to politics, for me, it is all about building an organization. It is all about building a community. And we're here, and there's many people right now all over this country who are longing for something to believe in. And the ruling class is telling them that there is no truth. There is no God. There is no truth. There's nothing worth fighting for. There's nothing worth dying for. Just roll over and be degrown so we can save our system. And we are here to say we will resist. And we are going to build a solid block, and we are going to come together, and it's going to be difficult, and we're going to get on each other's nerves, and we're going to make mistakes, but it must be done. There is no alternative. We must build our organization. And I just want to point this out. It's almost like they've given us a gift, because for years, the reason that Americans, that Americans wouldn't become communists was they were told, well, communism is against the American dream. It's against the American way of life. Well, now
it is against the American way of life. Actually, communism is anti-American, and it should be. If you're not a real communist if you're pro-America. I'm sorry. You're either pro-communist or you're pro-America. You can't be both.
The ruling class is saying the American dream is over. There is no American.
The American dream is a lie. Always has been.
If just whip yourself and be full of shame about the evils of this country.
I think if you're not ashamed of the evil of this country, you're probably a fascist.
Well, actually, that's an opportunity for us to step up and say, actually, there are things in the history of this country to be proud of. We can be proud of the labor movement. We can be proud of John Brown. We can be proud of Fred Hampton. And we can
Fred Hampton,
be proud.
The person that was murdered by this country's government.
To be part of the legacy of resistance to the evil empire that has existed here. It's an opportunity for us. They're giving us a gift. In addition to that, for years, Americans have been told, you can't be a communist because communists are atheists, and they don't believe in Christianity. But now the ruling class is saying there is no God, and Christianity is fascism, and anyone who believes in any principle is an agent.
That's not what the ruling class is saying. That's bullshit.
An agent of fascism trying to brainwash you or control you. So that gives us an opportunity to say, well, we're going to stand up for the belief that there is something worth living for, that it is worth living for the sake of others. It is worth
The ruling class don't give a fuck about anything but capital.
Sacrificing for a higher purpose. This is a huge opportunity for us. A huge opportunity for us.
Oh my God.
And for a long time, they've told us, you can't be a communist. You can't be a communist because in America, anyone can work hard. Anyone can go out and achieve their dreams and be rich. And that communism's against that. But now look at the United States. The whole place is falling apart. And their message to us is, we should all be poorer. We should just accept it. We're a cancer on the planet. We should all be poorer. But we can say, if you want the American dream, if you want a better future for your children, if you want the roads paved in your neighborhood, you want jobs and schools and opportunities, you got to be a communist. They're giving us a huge gift. Everything Americans believe in, they are handing to us on a silver platter.
Oh my
we
God,
just have
Caleb
to take
Moffitt,
it. And
he has no charisma at all. Jesus.
They are really scared of anybody taking it. They're terrified of this. Since 2008.
Oh, yes, the ruling class are shaking in their boots of you, Caleb Moffitt. Caleb Moffitt, the wise. Everyone is shaking in their boots.
They've been warning about the dangers of populism. Populism is the most dangerous thing ever because they know it's only a matter of time before we band together and start fighting to defend our schools and jobs and communities and coming together and realizing we have a common interest, rejecting their low-wage police state and building a new America. And doing so in solidarity.
Common enemy, anti-Semitic dog whistle.
China and Venezuela and all the countries they told us to hate. They hate us and they hate those countries. So I think
the Jew indirectly. Oh my God.
And so I'll just end by emphasizing what I said before, which is that we have to learn to love. And if we can't learn to love, we can't learn to love our community.
I hate America because I love humanity. That's why I hate America.
Love the people in our country, love the people in our communities. If we can't learn to be patient with them, we have no hope. The time for being bitter and isolated and pessimistic is over. We have a very serious task ahead of us. The stakes are getting higher. It's time to get out of the movement and get to the masses. It's time to build the Center for Political Innovation. It's time to take our job seriously. Dare to struggle, dare to win. Thank you.
God, it's a fucking cult. Holy shit. It's a fuck. Okay, I can't take any more of Caleb Muffin the Wise. I mean, he's too wise for me. I cannot take it. My God. Okay, reactionary cringe. Holy shit. Sorry, this needs to. Like, Caleb Muffin the Wise. It's like, my God, what the fuck did I just suffer through? Like, damn. What the fuck did I just fucking... God. How much reactionary cringe can we take? It is interesting. I'm just gonna... Sorry, I'm just... It's like, what the fuck did I just freaking... Holy shit. What the hell? Oh my God. I must have a gluten for punishment to suffer through that much cringe. By the way, this was not originally going to be a reactionary cringe stream, but the people demanded that I do more, and I had to do so. I mean, it had been like over 2 months since I did a video last, and I couldn't just end it with that liberal lady. A Mormon pretending to be a communist. You're not wrong. It's like, fucking God. Yes, they should. I think since I don't have much more to add, though, before I end this stream, and I am going to end it very soon, I do have a question for my next stream. For those of you who are, I figured I'd ask this verbally rather than do another community tab. I'll make a decision myself one way or the other, but how would you feel if I discussed like the lack of interest in Star Wars from the young generation? And I don't mean young generation as like Zoomers, but I'm just talking about maybe like the younger generation that was exposed to Star Wars in the 2010s, and why the trajectory for the Star Wars franchise doesn't look very good, considering how interest in Star Wars is at an all-time low. And I would like to do a more nuanced discussion on the subject rather than just do like the reactionary nerds like, oh, Star Wars is dead, blah, 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 or Star Wars is dying, blah, 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 blah. Or do what sequel defenders is just claim, oh, there's nothing wrong. Actually talk about an actual discussion on what is actually wrong with Star Wars, like the community and the franchise. Why is it that it's pretty much dead? And I'd like to discuss that, but I just want to know what people think before I end this stream, because I think there is a serious like the current era of Star Wars. I cannot say. I only like the first Jurassic part. Like, okay, well, I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to repeat what I'm saying, but I'm basically want to talk about how I feel like Star Wars just doesn't resonate with younger people. I'm not talking about people from like Gen Z. I'm talking about the younger members of Gen Z or Gen Alpha, whatever they call the current generation that's currently being born. I just would like to do a different analysis or give my own thoughts on it, because I'm just speaking as someone that's engaged with Star Wars, not just the movies, but also the books and comics and the games, and how there just doesn't seem to be as much interest at this point. And I do think it has to do with Star Wars just simply does not resonate with young people. And the reason I'll probably repeat it again, so don't be surprised if I repeat it, but it'll be more in depth. I've, for the hell of it, looked at various channels of various anime. I'm talking about anime that have enough content to do a lore channel of, and on average, they do better than Star Wars video content does. And I'm not talking about some random anime. I'm just talking about like the most popular anime that do lore videos of Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach, One Piece. And Gundam. We have a Gundam channel that does Gundam lore, and they don't struggle with getting tens of thousands of views like Star Wars videos do nowadays. And I just found that interesting, because unlike, let's say, these anime series I've listed, you have enough content in Star Wars to do lore videos to last you decades of worth of content, because new content still comes out for Star Wars. You could talk about when it comes to the lore. Yeah, stuff that hasn't had anything new for years or barely has anything new, yet you still have a lot of discussions. And I feel like it's a discussion worth having, and I feel like it's a discussion that Star Wars fans are not really willing to have, simply because Star Wars fans, at least when it comes to those who are against the new content or those who support it, don't actually want to acknowledge that why the problem is what it is. Now, I'm not going to give my opinion why it doesn't resonate with people here, because I don't want to repeat myself. But I just figured I'd just bring it up here because I think it'd be something different to talk about on my next video. Now, I'm not going to reveal if I'm going to do it, but if I do, I'll just do it. One way or the other, I'll decide probably within the next few days if I'm going to do it. That doesn't mean it's coming out in the next few days. It's just I would really like to ask my audience about it, because, mind you, I will do it regardless, because I when I want to talk about something in entertainment, I'd rather talk about what interests me. But it helps me to know where my audience is at if I actually want to engage with you and know if you're interested. Yeah. I just figured it'd be a worthy topic, because I feel like it's important to be in touch. Because as a Star Wars fan, it's important that I'm in touch with the fandom. And I have to be honest here. Most Star Wars fans are just... It's hard to even call them fans. They're more... I don't even know what to discuss. I kind of use this person as a benchmark, really, when it comes to, like, the general Star Wars community, because a lot more people are more like Thor Skywalker. And I think Thor Skywalker is one of the few people out there that you could actually gauge on the general fandom as a whole, on how enthusiastic they are about Star Wars, how much they want to talk about Star Wars, why they do or do not like the current Star Wars. And I feel like it's a conversation I feel like it's going to be had eventually. But I would like to be ahead of the curve on the topic on why doesn't Star Wars really resonate with the current generation? And I don't believe it has to do with wokeness. I just think it's the current environment. I just feel like Star Wars is just one of those things that it doesn't really appeal to future generation for the new generation for whatever reason or another. Again, I'm not going to get too much into detail because I don't want to repeat what I say again, and this video will get too long. Anyway, that's basically the idea for my potential next stream. For those of you who sat through this cringe fest that you had to suffer for like almost 3 hours, thank you. Anyway, may the force be with you. Stay safe, everyone, and see you guys next time with another stream.